Alright. Necropolis Grail time. Let's go. He's probably going Aztecs. Aztecs. I knew it.
Амарминду барилгачин тийм үү? Захир барилгачин бэлэн байна модчин.
Oh, perfect. Where are the sheep? I need my sheepas. And this is a bad start.
Амарминду
Захир анчин за тийм ээ. Амарминду анчин тийм үү анчин. Захир анчин амарминду анчин.
So I have enough food, but I think I might actually need that.
Анчин анчин. Тийм үү барилгачин.
Decent map, I think.
Захир анчин.
захир анчин би болгоё. Анчин
Тийм үү барилгачин модчин
тийм үү?
бидэн байна. Жигч
Анчин тийм ээ. За.
So many sheep though. That's... Oh, there's some sheep. Nice.
амарминду
Бэлэн байна анчин.
захир анчин. Амарминду
Oh, are you kidding me?
Тийм үү
Oh,
захир
Амарминду
тийм үү за
can you see that I'm writing, or?
No.
Spent the restart. Just need to check the rules. Where's the restart? Yeah, never mind. Now we did so. Why do people... Yeah, servers. Wrong servers. Where is he? There it is. Okay. Graveyards, fast, conquest, looks perfect.
Yes.
What? Are you kidding me? Mongols, graveyards. Let's go. My plan might or might not work against Aztecs. We'll see.
Bildim ben.
Again, no sheep at the start. Nice backwood. I'll take that.
Timo, Motchun, Zecher, Züte, Motchun. Timo, bildim ben. Motchun.
Nice. One more. 2 sheep. Two boars. And backwood line.
Bildim ben. Diyecekç.
Amr Mindu, Berlichchen, Zecher, Motchun.
There's just one, not two.
Bildim ben. Diyecekç.
There are deer though, I need my deer as well.
Timo, Berlichchen, Motchun.
Get this one, unless... Where was the other one again? Nice there, nice.
Amr Mindu, Diyecekç. Zecher, Anchen. Bildim ben. Anchen.
Shoot!
Züte. Amr Mindu, Anchen. Bildim Züte. Anchen. Zecher, Berlichchen.
Actually going to be super tight. Where are my deer? I need a deer!
Timo, Anchen.
Disaster.
Amr Mindu, Boy. Amr Mindu, Anchen. Bildim ben. Zaza. Zecher, Amr Mindu, Bildim ben. Züte, Motchun. Timo, Anchen.
Okay, is there? Nice. Nice.
Amr Mindu. Berlichchen. Motchun.
Zecher, Emten Diyecekç.
Let's go. Let's go. And there are my deer so far away.
Bildim ben.
Oof.
Ortaçın. Timo, Emten Diyecekç.
Oh, nice. I think my deer are actually bugged.
Zecher, Berlichchen.
Berlichchen.
Amr Mindu, bildim ben. Zecher,
Enten diyecekç.
Houses, damn it.
Amr Mindu, Timo, Berlichchen, Motchun. Bildim ben.
Nice. What kind of teleporting is that? Oh, don't take the hill on me.
Zecher, Boy. Timo, Züte, Amr Mindu.
So he doesn't want to take that. That's good.
Zecher, Motchun. Bildim ben. Berlichchen. Timo, Motchun.
Бэлэн байна. Барилгачин.
That's stupid.
Тийм үү?
Let's go here.
Барилгачин.
Missing some food, unfortunately.
Амар минь дүү. Барилгачин.
Ah, he's doing the doors as well. Let's find his gold, maybe.
Амар минь дүү. Модчин. Захир барилгачин.
Бэлэн байна. Барилгачин. Амар минь дүү. Уурхачин.
Тийм үү? Барилгачин. Барилгачин.
Бэлэн байна. Барилгачин.
Бэлэн байна. Барилгачин. Амар минь дүү. Тийм үү? Бэлэн байна.
No! Damn it.
Амар минь дүү.
Where is Meltars now?
Захир за.
It's playing it pretty open.
Модчин. Амар минь дүү. Барилгачин. Захир бэлэн байна. Барилгачин.
Захир. Уурхачин.
Тийм үү? Барилгачин.
Амар минь дүү.
So how do you do that?
Тийм үү? Захир зүйтэй барилгачин.
Тийм үү? За барилгачин.
Archers.
Тийм үү? Барилгачин. Бэлэн байна. Барилгачин.
Yeah, the archers.
За.
So,
Амар минь дүү. Тийм үү?
Амар минь дүү. Тийм үү? Уурхачин. Захир барилгачин. Бэлэн байна. Захир болгоё. Барилгачин. Бэлэн байна.
Бэлэн байна. Барилга
Амар мэндүү.
захир барилгачин амар мэндүү барилгачин
Тийм үү? Бэлэн байна.
бэлэн барилгачин амар мэндүү захир барилгачин
Тийм ээ. Мотчин захир амар мэндүү. Зүйтэй. Мотчин бэлэн байна. Барилгачин
тийм үү
захир
бэлэн байна
тийм үү?
амар мэндүү
Амар мэндүү.
тийм үү
Барилгачин
захир барилгачин
бэлэн
би
байна.
болгоё уурхачин
Амар мэндүү болгоё. Захир барилгачин
тийм үү за амар мэндүү захир амар мэндүү мотчин
тийм үү? Барилгачин бэлэн байна. Тийм үү? Уурхачин мотчин захир би болгоё. Тийм ээ би болгоё. Тийм ээ за би болгоё.
бэлэн байна тийм үү бидээ чин ихлэх
Амар би болгоё. Захир барилгачин
захир амар мэндүү барилгачин захир мотчин
амар мэндүү.
бэлэн байна мотчин
Тийм үү? За зүйтэй.
тийм үү бидээ чин ихлэх
Бэлэн байна. Барилгачин амар мэндүү. Даачгүй ихтэйч. Тийм ээ. За. Бэлэн байна. За. Тийм ээ. Захир даачгүй ихтэйч. Амар мэндүү.
захир зүйтэй мотчин тийм үү бэлэн байна
Захир барилгачин
амар мэндүү барилгачин тийм үү барилгачин
бэлэн байна. Тийм болгоё. Уурхачин
амар мэндүү болгоё барилгачин
амар мэндүү. Уурхачин
бэлэн байна
бэлэн байна. Тийм үү? Барилгачин
захир барилгачин тийм үү мотчин захир барилгачин бэлэн байна барилгачин амар мэндүү за мотчин тийм үү барилгачин
захир барилгачин зүйтэй.
амар
Амар
мэндүү
мэндүү.
Wow.
Бэлэн байна. Захир даачгүй ихтэйч.
захир барилгачин Амбарлигчин бэлэн бай. Тийм үү? Модчин.
Тийм үү?
Yeah, can't fight that. G. No point. Oh, yeah, the castle as well. Yeah, didn't even consider equals for that one. I knew he was ahead, he did more damage to me than I did to him, but that was a little bit annoying in his pace as well. So I still believe that Mongols men-at-arms archers with 20 pop is viable, just didn't have a good follow-up. Nah, not that different. Let's do to the work. Tuborg. Let's try Hans again. Maybe he doesn't know that Tuborg involves no starting scout. Should I tell him or not that this one is without scout? Okay, I have to tell him.
Yes.
Yeah, Lithuanians. Makes sense.
Амар мэндүү бэлэн бай. Модчин.
Амар за тийм болгоё. Тийм за. За болгоё. Бэлэн байна. Амтэн жижиг. Амар мэндүү.
Тийм үү? Модчин.
Biting
Go there.
Tijek. Timo enten Tijek. Amr Mindu Tijek.
захир барилгачин
It's actually born after 2 wars. Awesome.
Biting Ban Amching Timo Timo Time Zute Amr Mindu Matching Biting Ban Tijek. Захир Zaza Biting Ban Amching Timo Zute Amching
амр минду анчин
Amr Mindu Zaza Biting Ban Bi Bosgoyo Amr Mindu Time Amr Mindu Bi Bosgoyo Amching Zute Time Biting Ban Tijek. Timo Zaza
захир анчин
Biting Ban Timo Zute Bosgoyo Bi Bosgoyo
билин бай анчин
Amr Mindu Zaza Bi Bosgoyo Amching
тимо
Захир Amching Zaza Bi Bosgoyo Timo Matching Захир
Is there only one sheep?
Biting Ban
I don't understand.
Zaza Amching Amr Mindu Захир
билин бай би болгой анчин
Amr Mindu Amching Барилгачин Biting Ban Matching Timo Matching Amr Mindu Барилгачин
захир барилгачин тимо анчин амтэн тижэгч амр минду анчин амтэн тижэгч билин бай амтэн тижэгч
Захир
Oh, damn
Matching
it.
захир амтэн тижэгч
Timo
амр минду
Biting Ban Timo Biting Ban Барилгачин
тимо амтэн тижэгч
Amr Mindu Захир Барилгачин Захир Matching
захир тийм үү барилгачин бэлэн байна
Амар минь дүү. Тийм үү барилгачин.
амар мэндүү барилгачин анчин тийм үү барилгачин барилгачин модчин
Элинлээ гүйцэтгэе. Тийм үү тийм. Эдлээ гүйцэтгэе.
Бэлэн байна барилгачин.
Шаар сонс.
бэлэн байна
Амар минь дүү. Барилгачин.
Элин.
захир тийм ээ барилгачин
Sheep. Okay, so he isn't this everyone.
Тийм үү барилгачин.
Or is he just been scouting this area? Maybe.
амар мэндүү барилгачин
Тийм үү гүйцэтгэе. Эдлээ гүйцэтгэе. Айлдан. Шаар сонс. Райлн даш.
бэлэн байна барилгачин зүйтэй барилгачин
Захир бэлэн байна. Барилгачин. Захир тийм үү барилгачин.
Where are you going?
Барилгачин.
Now we had one scout, so he must have been something. Can't go straight past castle on a map like this. But I found him, which is very
тийм
nice.
үү модчин барилгачин
Nope, I'm not going there.
Тийм үү барилгачин.
Where's the attack noise coming from?
амар мэндүү би болгоё
Захир барилгачин. Бэлэн байна.
Элин. Эдлээ гүйцэтгэе.
Амар минь дүү.
Тийм үү. Айлдан. Шаар сонс.
That's a good fight for me. Just losing.
Элин гүйцэтгэе.
That's not a good fight for me.
захир
Захир амар минь дүү. Барилгачин. Модчин.
Oh,
Шаар сонс. Гүйцэтгэе.
that's fine.
бэлэн байна амар мэндүү барилгачин тийм үү зүйтэй за би болгоё барилгачин захир барилгачин тийм үү барилгачин
Тийм үү. Райлн даш.
бэлэн байна захир зүйтэй тийм ээ болгоё амар мэндүү барилгачин зүйтэй
Stop going in there.
бэлэн байна тийм ээ би болгоё барилгачин
Did he close off the back here or what's going on?
захир барилгачин
Бэлэн итлээ гүйцэтгэе. Ушаал сонс. Тийм үү. Тийм итлээ
Oh,
гүйцэтгэе.
it's a 3. Okay.
Ушаал сонс. Гүйцэтгэе. Тийм үү. Тийм үү.
тийм үү уурхачин амар мэндүү барилгачин
Ушаал сонс.
тийм үү барилгачин
Бэлэн.
амар мэндүү тийм ээ за зүйтэй
Тийм үү. Райден дак.
Oh,
Бэлэн. Ушаал сонс.
what the hell, fletching?
Тийм үү. Ушаал сонс. Бэлэн итлээ гүйцэтгэе. Тийм үү. Ушаал сонс. Райден дак. Тийм үү.
Thanks, Olaf.
Ушаал сонс. Бэлэн. Ушаал сонс. Бэлэн. Итлээ гүйцэтгэе. Бэлэн. Тийм үү. Ушаал сонс.
захир би болгоё зүйтэй
Didn't really plan this, I must admit.
барилгачин
Тийм үү. Итлээ гүйцэтгэе.
бэлэн байна за барилгачин
Бэлэн. Тийм. Гүйцэтгэе. Ушаал сонс. Итлээ гүйцэтгэе.
амар мэндүү
Тийм үү. Барилгачин байна. Тийм үү. Барилгачин.
тийм байна модчин
Yeah, I know.
барилгачин
I hope he can't see this. I think he can't.
тийм барилгачин
Бэлэн. Гүйцэтгэе.
амар мэндүү болгоё барилгачин
Тийм үү. Гүйцэтгэе.
Амар мэндүү. Барилгачин.
Ушаал сонс. Гүйцэтгэе.
Захир. Барилгачин. Бэлэн байна. Барилгачин.
Ah, he sees it now. Damn it.
тийм ээ зүйтэй барилгачин
Help me.
би зүйтэй
I can't quick wall. And some nice misclicks here as well, apparently.
Итлээ гүйцэтгэе. Ушаал сонс. Итлээ гүйцэтгэе.
бэлэн байна
Захир. Уурхачин.
Тийм үү. Ушаал сонс. Бэлэн. Ушаал сонс. Райден дак.
амар мэндүү
Ah, he got it up. That sucks.
Бэлэн үү. Бэлэн үү. Ушаал сонс. Итлээ гүйцэтгэе. Ушаал сонс.
Comes in. Disaster.
Бэлэн. Райден дак.
бэлэн байна
Тийм үү. Тийм үү. Бэлэн.
Okay, now let's plug this.
барилгачин
I hope.
Ушаал сонс. Ушаал
1 plus 2 on lights. Good.
Ушаал сонс. Гүйцэтгэе. Бэлэн. Ушаал сонс. Тийм үү. Ушаал гүйцэтгэе. Тийм. Бэлэн. Ушаал сонс. Тийм үү. Ушаал сонс. Тийм үү.
амар мэндүү барилгачин
Ушаал сонс. Ушаал сонс. Итлээ гүйцэтгэе. Тийм үү. Бэлэн. Ушаал сонс. Тийм үү.
Don't. Fast speed. Can't do everything at once here.
أمر من دو
티모
بيتم تيمو سكر بيتم تيمو أمر من دو
There we go. And he didn't repair, is he out of rest? So what's that? Nice here, okay.
티모 티메
Okay, that's open.
سكر
That's nice.
بردخشن بيتم بعد بداية شنو تيرج
أمر من دو
بردخشن 티모 버스노 자 좋게
تيمو واتشن سكر واتشن
Okay. What? Castle?
أمر من دو أمر وين سكر بردخشن
بيتم بعد بردخشن
Of course.
티모 بردخشن سيقي 버스노 bolg'oy tiyma bitim bayn bardikchim sakir и bolg'oy urqachim amr mindu bitim bayn motchim bardikchim
أمر من دو بردخشن تيمو بردخشن سكر بردخشن بيتم بعد بردخشن
amr mindu zaza bardikchim timo
Oh, just in time. Oh, sorry.
تيمو بردخشن أمر من دو بردخشن تيمو بردخشن أمر من دو بردخشن
Bad news. With arms. What is this? Yeah, the good goes there. GG. So is there castle? So exposed. Yeah, it was a good game. I had a nice push for a while there, but a bit too many things to handle. I bet he had like twice my villagers or something. Yeah. Not that different eco though. Gold of course, but I like this map. And it's of course not 0-0 but 2-0. Or 0-2 rather. Should be 0-2. Yeah. No idea why it bugs out. Okay guys, moving on with some casting here. We have the Death Division. The map is always graveyards in the Necropolis Great Cup, so we have a Felixaldi in the blue here playing as Aztecs for graveyards, and Daywalker has picked Franks for this occasion. So Daywalker with a nice pawn just right next to his starting base here, but actually Felixaldi has one as well, but maybe with a bit fewer deep fish here. And another pawn to the side here. As usual, pawns are randomly generated, so you could get lucky or you could be in trouble. So I think Felixaldi has a decent wall off here on his side. He could go all the way out here or just here and wall between the woodlines and get his side towards Daywalker secured. So they're actually spawning quite close to each other here, so could see some immediate early action here. Mind you that even though the playback here is on normal speed, the game is played on fast speed, so it's a bit more stressful than your usual walk in the park games. And there's lots of neutral golds to take to the sides here, and Felixaldi being Aztecs, if he can secure the relics, here there are 10 relics or so total, then he will be in a great spot to earn some extra bonus gold from the relics. So a bit... Yeah, okay, Felixaldi found his boar, but he's missing a few sheep, they're out there. And they bring in one of our, he knows about this one, so he's fine. It looks like he might be just be going out to find his opponent now. On Daywalker's side is also missing a few sheep, but he's about to find them. That actually just misses Daywalker's sheep here and passes his scout. Doesn't want to take a fight here. Daywalker getting loom already. Let's see, maybe he was just want to avoid idle because it's 10-10 in the counts here. But Felixaldi brings in his last few sheep. Daywalker luring his boar. Looks like fast speed might be stressing him out a bit as well. It was a little bit slow to pull the villager back here, but he has loom, so he's fine. This gun is going to be fine. The timing is nice because he's just going to be finished eating the sheep when the boar is at his base here. So a bit of a harassment of the villagers on the woodland here. Aztec player doesn't have loom yet, so that's some nice idle time for the Aztec here. Chasing after a scout. And struggling slightly maybe with the boulder here, but he should be okay. And Daywalker looking at both of his wars in the back, is bringing in the second one now. Good job scouting in the back to find them there, but that also means they're tougher to lame. Laming is allowed in this tournament, so that can happen. He could actually snag this boar now, Daywalker, if he wanted to. So Daywalker actually going pretty heavy on wood here. He might want to dock and go for the fast castle approach here, but he doesn't. Yeah, he barely sees there's a pond behind there, so maybe he intends to use that. It's actually kind of a weird woodland hybrid thing for him, but still his best option at the moment. His side is actually rubbish considering the woodlines here, because his closest woodline is so thin here. This one is decent, but it's also exposed since it's in front close to his enemy, and then the next one is just so far away over here. So a bit of a scout's harassment here again, but Felixaldi fights his off. And he's also with a one villager lead here. Almost won. And about to catch up.
But nay.
So Felixaldi sends a hunter forward. He wants to dock, I'm sure. Wants to get fish boom going. And why not? Because, well, it's walls to begin with, actually. But from the way he's walling, I assume he will make use of the fish as well. He's walling off the edges here and doesn't want any unwanted aggression, and is leaving just these few gaps on the sides here to Actually, it doesn't see that it's open on this side, so that could be an issue. Unless, of course, he just walks between the woodlands here, which he could do as well. Here we go, he's sending the lumberjack just to make sure there isn't an opening here. And he's going to close it. Fuel Age, of course, on the way for a Franks player. He's going to have a decent head start to the Fuel Age here, dropping the barracks now, wants to go for the scouts, I'm sure. Even being pretty heavy on wood here, he certainly has the food to get a few scouts out here. Daywalker scout is almost getting trapped here now. If blue finishes this wall here, Felixaldi on this side, then this Daywalker scout actually won't be able to get out. Not that big a deal, of course, but going for the scout rush as he is, with Felixaldi scout just right there, ready to harass the builders. Daywalker chooses to engage. Actually, wants to chase off and challenge his scout, but now we'll finish the stable and get forward. Problem for Daywalker is that Felixaldi is already full walled, so he will either need to break through the walls or just simply use a few scouts to utilize them for the map control. He could actually even dock here and sneak over a few scouts. We've seen that in one game, so transport scout rush masterpiece. So it's definitely an option, but we see Felixaldi going up at 29, no 30 pop here. He's adding fish as well, as we can see, so he should have a much more healthy eco and being almost for sure the first one to cast Lich here. So Scout is chasing, but can't really engage any villagers here. Maybe could harass the gold a little bit, but I think Daywalker's frank choice here isn't ideal, as the best he could hope for is just to force some creep walls off his enemy, and he will be leading houses anyway, and goes for the double palisades here. Yeah, it's true, he has to go all the... I mean, it's not entirely blocked because he could go over here and dock, but it's yeah, not ideal, of course. I thought though, from the initial 5 we had on wood, that he was going to dock the water, but looks like he's not doing it for now. So see the scouts harassing just a little bit here. Felixaldi could even go for some spears here just to clean this up if he wants to, but not really in a rush here to fend anything off. It's just the walls are doing just fine here for defensive purposes. Daywalker Scout still alive though, he could still be annoying here, but it's on 2 HP, it's just one more hit for the villager that's out. If you had paid attention, you could have actually sniped that farm with the Scout, and that would be nice value from a 2 HP Scout here. But his Felixaldi is playing it safe here, double palisades, just doesn't want to let the mounted units in here. Of course he will be needing to expand at some point, but for now it's nice feudal defense and fishing ships working for him, and should be closer to Cast Lich than his opponent here. Also with a very significant lead here, with already 6 fishing ships working for him, and then even another 2 or 3 villagers. And Daywalker just calls lull. Realizes that his scouts won't really do anything here, I guess. And another layer of palisade walls for Felixaldi, just because why not? If he has the wood for it. Yes, already has his buildings and Cast Lich researched, so here we go. It's going to be not too huge of a lead, and scores are pretty similar here, actually, all things considered. But the Franks player should be behind eco-wise still. He has less on food overall, I believe. Could this be an setup straight for Eagle Scouts or something for Felixaldi here? We'll have to see. Another barracks being added by Felixaldi here. He could be planning to take map control and engage with Eagle warriors here. And judging from Daywalker's map, he is could just walk around. But what do you mean, Kong? Oh yeah, the pond, of course. Yeah. It's really kind of awkward to, especially to defend, I guess, if something happens. So second and third PC for the Aztecs player here is securing the eco for himself there, which could be say about Daywalker as well. He's dropping 2 TCs as well. He is still open on this side though, so if any Eagle warriors come in there, or pikes for that matter, that could mean trouble. Daywalker with 4 knights on the field, but he can't engage the spears just yet. I think he's well, he would win the fight, but it would also mean significant damage. And Felixaldi even with a galley on the water here to defend a little bit. But Daywalker gets 1 fishing ship there, nice hit. And the knights, if they go for this palisade, they should be able to maybe, yeah, maybe they won't break through in time. It's tough to tell, but it's also, I guess I like the fact that he's attacking the fishing ships, hurting the water eco at least a little bit here. Only 1 villager building this TC though, so it's the 3 TC boom for Daywalker is going to be slower. He didn't go for the pond either, not sure why not. It's, I mean, it's he sees it by now, but of course if he needs to defend it, it's very awkward for his army to get there easily. Now harasses a little bit with knights again, tries to find a way in, but this is just to repair this house, and here come the pikes from the other side as well, and Daywalker doesn't see it for now. He needs to back away, very soon, otherwise it's gonna be a slaughter here. Yeah, here are the pointy boys, so it's just, yeah, I thought just in time, takes a little hit, loses maybe 1 knight here, but yeah, that's okay. Some monks out of the field for Felixaldi. He wants to go for the relics for sure. It's also nice defense against knights, of course. But he's using also some of his stray units to scout for more relics and just have a little bit of overview here. Villager counts, Daywalker is kind of catching up. He's 10 minutes behind now. He was 30 minutes behind not so long ago. So killing off a few fishing ships, that's made a little difference. And the actual villager count is just a few numbers apart. So this monk is dead meat, I believe, but he gets a conversion first, so that's still some value. And knights with the +1 are here now at work. Wants to chase again, but he needs something against pikemen. I would love to see a castle lab for Daywalker, maybe on the defensive on this side, and just get some throwing X-Men out as an easy option to deal with pikes here. That would still effectively... I think throwing axemen would do decent against even against eagles, if you disregard the speed of eagles, of course. But Felixaldi, pretty ballsy monk move here, going into Daywalker's base here, just snagging this relic and just... I'll just take this one, thank you very much. As he walks slalom between the trees here and bringing the relic back home. And these pikemen running right into TC fire, so they should be struggling a bit here, but of course just an elaborate distraction to let the monk go here. We see some forward siege added here for Felixaldi. Lots of pike, and then siege to be added. So pikes and siege should be tough for Franks to deal with at this point. He will need a defensive castle for that purpose. That could be useful as well to get the throwing axemen out to deal with pikes and maybe even the siege. They have a destroy siege, especially rams, very quickly. So Felixaldi goes for rams. He wants to add more pikes or alternatively eagles as well, but it's indeed going to have pikes, so it's going to be a pike ram push here, and now getting the upgrades for the infantry line as well. So the knights see this, but they run right into pikes here. That's 1 knight down, 2 knights down, 3 knights almost basically for free for Daywalker here. Let's look at the army count here. It's 34 military to 3 for Felixaldi here, so this is looking very, very bad for Daywalker. So defensive castle coming up for Daywalker, and castles are fortunately cheaper for Franks, so it's easier for him to get it up, but might just not be enough here with all these pikes on the field and the rams battering away, because as long as Daywalker doesn't have any answer to the pikes, then he's going to easily deal with any knights. That is, for the moment, his best option to deal with siege as well. So Felixaldi, of course, throwing away maybe some pikes here now, fighting under castle fire, but the rams go forward. There are pikes instead of battering rams as well. They're going straight for the castle, I would assume. And castle right next to the TC, of course, there's going to be some copper fire here, but that's already 6 rams battering away at the castle, idling. They will clear severely here. It's not too far away villager-wise, it's like less than 20, but look at the idle count here. And some pikemen running here and there to disturb more villagers working, and I think Daywalker will lose this castle, and maybe he will simply be forced to call the GG very soon. So he's adding some of the defensive mangonels here. Nice measure against rams there, but picks them off. But I think he'll still lose this castle, and then all this siege is just free to push here. Another defensive castle being added. I don't think that will be allowed to go up, but let's see. Even if it goes up, it could still be rammed down, and if you look at the ecos at this point, even with this level of production and getting upgrades for Felixaldi is just very much ahead here. Defensive castle will go up, but not at any cost here. It's actually almost double the will count for Felixaldi now, and it's even Aztecs with their eco bonus, so his eco lead is just going to grow. I mean, Daywalker, he almost has the resource to click imp, but he needs army instead. I believe it's 28 to 4 military, and his defensive castles fence of Felixaldi for now. The push continues now with 3 mangonels on the field to deal with defensive mangonels from his opponent. Now adds a market, wants to adjust the eco, maybe needs to sell some food to get more gold here, because he's not really mining gold efficiently at the moment. And the army just keeps coming from Felixaldi. Look at the, now even adding crossbows. I don't know if that's to stop further castles from going up or just raid a little bit on this side, but another defensive castle is going up for Daywalker, but look how he's just being cramped up in his own corner here. It's just no way for him to expand, and Felixaldi just takes all of the map control here. And is even on the way to Imp, so let's see what his stone count is like. He could drop a castle as well, and when he does, he will have traps out, and these castles should be easy to deal with from a distance. So credits to Daywalker for holding on here and defending nicely, but he's really forced to his own section of the map and can't really expand, and that's just usually just means a moment of time before you have to call the GG. There's the castle from Felixaldi is almost, or has more than 2,000 score lead at this point. There are some knights on the field, but there are now crossbows, pikes to deal with this stuff here. Forecast moves up immediately, will probably immediately queue Trebs once he gets to the Imperial Age. His eco is just stellar here, he seems to even struggle to spend this stuff here. The KD is actually in Daywalker's favor here, but bear in mind that that's Pikeman in the mix as well, so maybe the value that Felixaldi has gotten from his army is still arguably the best here. Forecast is up. Queuing actually Garland Wars first here. That affects infantry, of course, so not a bad choice. So not stressing queuing Trebs here, wants to get arms instead. Should probably be able to reach above the wood line here then, if he gets the respective. Is actually there's Vodkin Arrow as well, yeah. And he's getting Captram, could be... Well, he actually doesn't have the food eco to support Siege Ram right away, but this is just a matter of time and maybe. In the meantime, Daywalker is adding more military, is now 61 to 19 military, so still a very, very tough fight for Daywalker to take. But how does he deal with 11 capped rams going forward? Manolo gets some nice shots in here, but then there's Cap Ram is in. Troy Axeman should certainly be able to deal with the Rams as well, but please add some traps in the back here, and you could also attack the castle from a distance meanwhile, and you just can't deal with everything at the same time. But look at these Rams, just taking out production is adding even more Rams as well. It's not going to be siege Ram anytime soon, but it should be enough still. Felixaldi doesn't really care too much about this army at this point. It's just so easy for him to replenish them, and Daywalker's eco is decent. He could still produce, but as said, he's losing map control. He's actually migrated to the corner here, so he could do a bit of a reboom here, but I don't think it's going to be enough overall. And there's the GG. So we'll be moving on to the second game between these two players. Let's just have a quick look at the stats first. So KD in Daywalker's favor, but if you look at the eco here, it's trending very much in Felixaldi's favor here. What's the relic gold? He got 9 relics in the end. Imagine that with Aztecs you get plus 33% gold for relics as well, so that's huge, this relic gold here. Villager counts, of course, free boom for Felixaldi as well, as the initial scouts could never hit him. Uptime's not all that dissimilar, but Daywalker just didn't do enough damage with his early push with the scouts, so it was a bit unlucky there that his opponent had a map that was easy to wall that early on. Could have been helpful, if possible, at the fast speed to go up a bit earlier and to deny the walls before they go up. With Franks that could be doable, considering their berry picking bonus, which is kind of a boost, and the fact that you get middle upgrades for free in the onwards. But that's 1-0 for Felixaldi, and we'll go to the next game. So going to game 2, this is Daywalker's home map, and we're seeing Teutoburg this time around. So a map that could be considered both open and closable at the same time. If you look at all these trees, the stragglers, the single stragglers could of course be chopped to make room for buildings. And but the special thing about this map is you start without a scout, which is extra unsettling. You are forced to use your initial sheep to start scouting. Usually they should spawn very close to your TC, so you have the option to use sheep to scout right away. So kind of nice opening here for Felixaldi, finding his boar there. I think now it runs away to the Fog of War again, so maybe he'll need to scout further. But Felixaldi on his side didn't find any boar yet, and that could prove significant for the start of the game here, that boars are all the way out here for him. But in exchange, once he finds them, he will also find, yeah, he's going to convert this sheep now. If he will find some hunt as well, with any luck he will see at least one of the boars as well. Then again, if you can't find your starting resources, you will be forced to keep looking a little bit. He's actually dropping the lumber camp right away, which is, but there we go. I think he's spotted the boar now, so that's lucky for him. Then he could just bring this dude right home. That's considered though. Felixaldi with a slight filter lead here, but nothing very significant. Dropping house is already beginning kind of wall off here. He could be considering a fast castle with the Franks here actually, and then just use knights for map control. But then again, this map should be very useful for scout opening as well, because considering you don't have your opening scout, you will also have trouble spotting out exactly how and where to wall. And not to mention, you won't be finding your enemy anytime soon. So we see Felixaldi already starting his wall off here, wants to play it safe. Bringing in his boar now. But as we know as well, Vikings, strong save overall. They have eco bonuses, 3 handcart and 3 wheelbarrow. So once that bonus kicks in from Feudal Age onwards, Vikings have a nice eco spike there. So it's only 3 on wood for Felixaldi for now. He has found his second war as well, so he will be bringing in that one. And from the setup with the wood here, I think he would be going for the scouts opening after all. Actually missing these 2 sheep from over here. He hasn't scouted that area yet, but now he's using a sheep. So he's going to the bears here so that he can use the sheep for further scouting. And brings in the second boar. Has fluent production for both players here. They seem to be pretty similar in that sense. Felixaldi with a slight villager lead, but let's see what they're up to. Vikings, very likely to go archers, possibly some kind of infantry opening, rush, men-at-arms, some such. So it's a few more villagers, 1 more villager now for Felixaldi, taking Doom. Looks like he wants to go for the 20 pop scouts here, which he should be able to, maybe with that bit of force dropping here. No, we're still missing just a slight little bit, so, but if he force drops from the middle as well, he should be going right up and be good to go. And it's actually not idling the TC either, because it's a loom there, but there's Feudal Age in for Felixaldi. So it's a situation like for Daywalker, is at the moment pretty far away from kicking up, didn't wall anything specific yet, so he could be very vulnerable to scouts here now, unless he gets up himself, which I believe he will, because now he's at 480 for the 90. And Could uncue the last villager to go up or just go 23 pop if it's that, and then he could opt for maybe some. This is kind of looks like a straight archer's build to me, except for the fact that he hasn't gone to gold yet. There is the feudal age click up for Daywalker, and he's very far behind in that regard. And he hasn't gone for any early military here, so he's now going to the gold. He's going to add more to gold once the sheep is complete, I guess. So it looks to me like a straight archer's build, 23 pop for Daywalker. That could be very scary against Frank's player now in feudal age. Has to be adding the stables there somewhere, right? There are the stables. So I actually looked out the spot here to act like kind of a wall forward here, so I like the placement. Kind of forward, but always also acting as a wall here, and then a palisade to secure that as well. So we will be seeing soon to be complete walls for Felixaldi here, while we will also go for the scout rush, but actually looks like he will barely have scouts out by the time that his opponent reaches feudal age, but the barracks could... yeah, it will be finished. Blue has a hole near water, yeah, on this side, right? Let's see if he spots it. Blue has a hole near water. Well, that could be dangerous. So, scouts out for Felixaldi. Gets kind of unlucky there not finding his opponent right away here. Might, if he really paid attention, he might have seen one tree chop there. But he's out scouting. Seems like his gathering points is set somewhere up there. And of course, with the scouts out, he gets valuable intel. But pretty unlucky not to have spotted right, which he will do right now. And let's see if he tasks his other scouts over right away. So 4 on gold, they have the same population here now, those players. Blue is, yeah, still open here actually. So the scouts are running in, but not really doing any damage here. Maybe also group up and get all of them there. Barracks is over here. Castle Age is going to come for Daywalker, so Felixaldi needs to deal some damage here now, otherwise he's letting his opponent get away with straight fast castle here, or more or less straight fast castle. So here, scouts running in, found a weak villager, goes straight for that woman, and here she teleports into the woman. Nasty, nasty horse there, but succeeds in taking her out. So that's 1 kill already, and Felixaldi now with 31 to 27, but bear in mind that Felixaldi is staying in the feudal age, committing to some feudal age fighting here, and yeah, we'll just run around and be annoying now. So archery range being dropped by the Vikings player here now. I would could be that his aggression from Felixaldi here is putting him off a bit, because this archery range I believe would have benefited from being up earlier, so he could get some army out. But there are spears on the field now, saves one villager here being attacked by the scouts. That scouts are attacking under the DC, taking some fire, but causing idle time in the process. And Castle Age is now in for Daywalker here. He's getting idles, he's being taken off gold. What's his eco like right now? It doesn't look too bad. He could produce, or he could even opt for the pikeman upgrade here, something I don't think he will against just a few scouts. Hi, Dr. Cosmonaut. Thanks for stopping by. So, yeah, scouts just healing out, and Felixaldi using the opportunities to scout the map and run a little bit around with scouts here, trying to idle and do damage. Every time we have to garrison inside the TC, it's of course idle time, so even if the scouts don't really do any real damage, the idle time could be considered damage as well, as Felixaldi keeps his villager lead with 35 to 30 here, as he's aging up himself. And it's still open here though, so should be able to, for Daywalker to make some pressure here, but I think the second stable is definitely going to be knights in the cast stage for Felixaldi. Surprise, surprise. And double range for Daywalker. Scouts could actually deny this one, but they choose to harass the woodline instead. Or will I go in for it now? Yeah, he splits up the scouts and deals with this builder here, so this archer range will be even further delayed, and Daywalker is forced to react to this and sees his opponent reaching cast stage. So the score difference is huge here, but that should be applied to also to scouting difference here, because Felixaldi has been using his scouts to just get complete intel of the whole map. Third receiving adding for the Vikings player now. Frank's player is adding 3 as well. So I guess they will have a sort of a similar boom, but Vikings with a stronger eco will of course maybe get the better end of the deal there. But Felixaldi snipes so far is really annoying with this last scout here. He is adding knights now. They should be... If the knights get there early enough, they could pick off some archers before they even become crossbows here, or at least before Daywalker can get his numbers up. So Felixaldi knows there's some army production going on here, so he could, right after he has the +2, just choose to engage here. For example, no Bodkin arrow for Daywalker yet, and it's now 5 knights, I think, or there's some scouts on the field as well. So 3 knights against this little combo here. Could be a fight worth taking still. Against, there are 3 spears, there's 4 spears total. Daywalker, however, doesn't know the location of his enemy, and he is unfortunately going in the wrong direction here. So not opting for scouts in the beginning, you wouldn't usually want to do that as Vikings, of course. But having a few scouts on the field, that gives you just so much more intel of the map as a whole, just like this. But the players' military populations are pretty similar, same builder count, but then military just a slight few more for Daywalker. But that is spearmen and crossbowmen here fighting against knights. So once knights' numbers are collected here, they should be taking out this whole little army here. And we can hear that Felixaldi is also picking up the relics here for the extra eco boost. So cleaning up the crossbows and spears here, now has 7 knights on the field. They have +2 and even +1 attack here. And Daywalker is still pretty open. He has TCs to support, of course. Adding a barracks, another barracks. He wants more defenses and also kind of house walling off here, so it's not over by any means. Looking at the eco as well, it's bringing in a lot more for Daywalker, since he is in fact getting the eco bonuses for Vikings. Keeping the TC skulls here, so running in here with the knights is going to be tough to cause some real damage here. So Felixaldi, nice scouting knows almost the whole map here. The only thing he's missing is his relic in the corner there. Otherwise he knows where the other relics are. But Pikeman is in for the Vikings player. That's going to make it tougher for the Franks player here. He needs... he could still engage as it's small numbers and no upgrades on the Pikes, but he's definitely going to need some answer or something against the Pikes as well. So completely idled here for now. Felixaldi not adding either army or units here. But Daywalker, does he know the location of his opponent here? He doesn't. Still doesn't know where his opponent is. That's huge news going, or really bad news going for the Archer's approach here. And it looks like Felixaldi might want to go forward, maybe drop a castle now. No, he doesn't have the stone for that. He's dropping another lumber camp instead and wants to boost the wood income on this side. Now guarding the monk, bringing in a relic here, just staying close in case there's some kind of forced engagement here. So Vikings player now dropping a market, maybe he needs a bit of adjustment of his eco here. Spelting lots of gold, but not so much everything else. Could be looking to buying food or wood for more pikes or something here. It's now defense for the pikes and Bodkin obviously for the crossbows. No armor though, so might be useful to see him, but there's the armor being added as well. Yeah, exactly. But he needs to challenge decent group of knights here, and is being added more as well from both stables here from Felixaldi. But Daywalker really needs to find some more efficient means of scouting here, but he's still looking for his opponent in this area. He doesn't know that he is in fact over here. So of course it's only a matter of time before he finds him, but they will get lucky and snipe a monk here now at least, so that's good news. And he sees the monk is coming from this direction, so finally he will be moving towards Felixaldi's army here. So let's look at the relic count here. He's brought in one relic so far. Felixaldi with this already. A little bit of extra gold, denying it from his opponent. Crossbows are in. Daywalker finds the collection of his opponent here. And he's taking a questionable fight here. He probably didn't expect as many knights to be at home here for Felixaldi, and Daywalker might lose very much of his army here, but he's picking off and weakening knights as well. Would really love to see him staying on the hill, and there were even defensive scorpions from Felixaldi here, so he was expecting this infantry crossbow forward. He cleans it up, and now there are 15 to 6 military for Felixaldi here. Look at the KD, 40 to 18 for Felixaldi, and he comes out of this in a great manner. Just a few scorps helping out against packed masses of the infantry and archers here, and Felixaldi all in all with the stronger eco as well. He's now adding his TC number 4, wants to secure the gold over here. I'm a little bit puzzled to see Felixaldi staying as much on the defense as well. Of course, he did some early damage with scouts. Maybe he feels he's done enough, but Daywalker, being Vikings, may or may not have the market abused a little bit, and is on the way to the Imperial Age, and he's got almost a 50% head start on the Imperial Age here over his opponent. He doesn't have any stone for a castle yet, but he could still do a siege ram archer's push and do some significant damage against the opponent, but maybe not against this heap of knights, of course. But Imperial Age will be in for both players. The Franks player is already dropping a castle now because he has Franks, his cheaper castles, and he could drop another one right away, so he could actually castle both sides here if he wanted to. So it takes a forward position here, will get traps out right next to his opponent's production here. Meanwhile, Daywalker is going forward. He is producing like crazy, but he's not using the Imperial Age to take into Arbalest right away. Maybe if he unqueues some production here he could, but he seems to be... there it is, there's Arbalest going in. And since the pike's in, we'll definitely get some knight skills here. Could snipe this castle foundation here if he's paying attention, come on. I think Felixaldi actually lost this castle foundation here, so that's really bad luck for him. He didn't get the stone back. He lost 400 stone just there. And Daywalker, good awareness there, getting Arbalest now, and he has he's missing Bracer, but otherwise he's ready for a forward here. Got some armor upgrades as well, but there is Siege in the making for Felixaldi. He could opt for... yeah, he's going for the Knight's line here, otherwise he would have the option to go for Heavy Scorpion as well, but maybe not just for a few Scorpions, he would need more production for that. Adding more stables, getting all the upgrades could still sustain Knight's production as well. He will lose this one, but that's not really a huge deal. It needs some efficient means to deal with pikes though, but he has 5 Scorpions total, that could be enough. Felixaldi taking it very carefully, staying behind this, adding a 50 TC on this side, so a nice way of taking back control, also adding a castle to reinforce that. Could have maybe taken down a few stragglers here and build the castle on the hill if time allowed. Here's a forward castle from Daywalker, so it will be a little bit back and forth here, but Felixaldi actually going for Paladin. So makes sense, of course. He has 28 Cavaliers here, and Paladin not too easy for Vikings to deal with. They only get pikes. They do get a unique tech for infantry that allows them to do more damage against cavalry, but still it's going to be tough to deal with Paladin with yeah, I wouldn't say roughly equal military numbers, because Daywalker has 83 military, you know, but on the other hand he is behind in eco. Viking eco is working for him, of course, but still with a 40 military difference, that's significant, no matter how we look at it. Accommodations pretty similar here. It's of course more military for Daywalker, but then there's a stronger army for his opponent now with 42 Cavaliers, about to be Paladin. Let's see the progress here. It's 80-90%, and it takes a long way around. Felixaldi knows all of the map here below, and he has 2 relics to back it as well. And knowing that Daywalker's army is all forward, these knights could do, or paladins could do, some serious damage forward here, because there simply aren't any pikes at home to defend for Daywalker. This mass of paladins is just huge enough to deal with anything. Looks like Daywalker is tasking all of his pikes back home to this base. Okay, I thought they were actually further away, but some raids on this side, a huge mass of paladins here. And how does Daywalker deal with this? It's gonna be tough for him. Pikes run in, but I think even the pikes would struggle against the paladins here. Yeah, look at this. The pikes have Well, they have both the armor but missing the attack and losing a lot here. 34 paladins, just shredding the pikes here. Wow, this is, and there's even more paladins production for Felixaldi. It's just not going to let go of this game. Look at this eco here as well. You could actually spam paladins for a while still. And Daywalker, meanwhile, losing control of his eco. He doesn't have any means to produce anymore. He's adding pikes, he's adding crabs, he's trying to push forward, but it's just not going to be enough here to do against this massive army here. Looking at the score here, it's 3000 more score for Felixaldi. I believe he has the huge KD difference here, but the Arbalist here finds the choke point here and dealing decently against the Paladins, but look how many shots it takes to just deal with one Paladin here. It's ridiculous. Arbalist close to fully upgraded, and still it takes so many shots, and the Paladins can close, and Felixaldi is still adding Paladins. Daywalker producing as well, but he's losing eco, he's losing DCs, he says lol, and he's probably about to call it. Not good at all. I don't know about that Daywalker, you met some tough resistance here. And here we go. Looking at Felixaldi, Sustain seems playing very defensive, just moving away, setting up his economy for Paladins in the end. And yeah, of course he wasn't defensive early on, he had some scouts raiding around, making life difficult for Daywalker, punishing Viking and eco a little bit. But in the end, it's Felixaldi's game, and he moves on to the next fights. To the round 3, I believe is the next one for him. KD massive here for Felixaldi. His Paladins really did work here, 236 to 51. Just not so many buildings raised for a huge army for Daywalker, but that was mainly pikes and arbs, of course, 20-30 arbs, maybe more. And eco here shows that Felixaldi was slowly expanding. I think he had 5 DCs at least in L1 there, 3 in his home base, and 1 to the side here as well. So he was really making use of the resources close to his starting spawn. Up times corresponding nicely with their place here. Daywalker looks to be doing a straight archer's build, but I think he, due to being corrupted by scouts early on, he opted for the fast castle instead and then dropped the range later on, and he was maybe a little bit too slow to mass army to contest Felixaldi's forwards. Villager high is significant here as well, a little bit already cold, but then there's 30 or so villagers difference, and let's see the army in the end here just dying away to Felixaldi's Paladins. So that's 2-0. Okay, we're back. So now we have a game in the Adept division. That's the 1000 to the 1400 ELO bracket. And we have Man's Really Not Hot in the green here, playing as Lithuanians. And he's playing versus Ripvanwinkle in the purple here, who is playing as Aztecs. Both kind of obvious picks for these maps, considering you have so many relics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 relics, I think, unless I miscounted. So it will be a battle for relics for sure at some point. I'd say that their spawns are somewhat close. Man's Really Not Hot with a pond pretty close to his base. I think his ponds generated more nicely for him. Ripvanwinkle's pond on this side is blocked off by wood, but he could go for this one, but then there's only one deep fish here. So a deep fish disposition here, look at this one pond compared to this one, should favor MRNH in the green if he chooses to go for the fish bloom here. So it has to be noted, this is Necropolis Grail. It has an overall kind of spooky graveyard necro team, so you'll see graveyard residue like this on many of the maps, and it's played on fast speed just to be that little extra bit unsettling. So having a little look on the scouting here, Aztecs very likely to open some kind of infantry opening like a Drush or even an arms opening, because they start with plus 50 gold, meaning they basically get loom for free compared to other players. So it means you could add even more militia or men-at-arms for your openings. Bit unlucky boar spawn here for Ripvanwinkle, but he sees it, so he will be able to get it. Maybe he will consider loom before he goes out to get it. So Man's Really Not Hot side is bringing the boar now. He doesn't have loom either, but he's quite fine. It looks like he wants to go for the pond straight away as well. I like your approach. No, it's building houses. Okay, well, he could still go for the pond. So just make sure he doesn't get housed here. Bringing in the boar will of course bring in the second one as well, and using scouts sheep a little bit for scouting purposes as well here. So nice middle here with deer pretty close by. You could actually use the scout to bring in deer close to the middle, or for that matter the TC as well. But considering you start with plus, what is this, plus 150 food or something with Lithuanians, you're not that dependent on pushing deer. But any deer you push in will save you wood for farms early on as well, so could always be considered. But look at, here's a lame from Ripvanwinkle here. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Will MRNH be able to block this? He won't. He just misses it here and vanishes in their Shroud of War here. So this is a nightmare start for the Lithuanians player here, but at least he has the extra food to start off with. So now he could go on to sheep, maybe move some more to berries or add earlier farms, and he should still be okay. But nevertheless, that is 340 extra food for Ripvanwinkle and 340 food down for MRNH. So this could be very significant for the openings here. It's certainly a lot harder to open with scouts when you know you're down like that. Maybe it could be considered to wall off sides here, just limit any early aggression from his opponent and try to opt for the faster castle and get the boom going to catch up a bit, but not so easy to catch up with Aztec Eco either. At least MRNH idles his opponent a little bit here, and that's something. And even this villager is just dancing around doing nothing here for Ripvanwinkle, who is now adding a barracks. He is likely going for the men-at-arms here then, because it's kind of a late barracks in that regard, but he's also on the way to getting housed, but there's the house, so he'll be fine. If he now sends his next two to gold, it will indeed be the men-at-arms we'll see. He could also be setting up for some kind of Eagle Scouts rush here. And yeah, apparently doesn't want to rush the barracks here. He gets another house up first just to be on the safe side. Maybe he forgot that he was building one over here. It is fast speed overall, so it's tough, and I think MRNH succeeds in laming Ripvanwinkle's border here, so payback for him. He gets 1 mil, he has to sacrifice his scout, but he gets 1 villager, which puts him in the lead here. It's 20 to 19 villagers now, and what's MRNH Eco setup like now? Let's see, he's catching up the food needed for picking up And he has 21 pop at the moment. Yeah. Could be, yeah, he's adding one more militia. He's actually going for the militia himself. Guess that's not a bad. No, I'm on the wrong player. So that's the militia from Ripvanwinkle. But I'm looking at Master Not Hot's resources, who is going up to the village. Bit of a brain fart there, but he's going up at 22 pop. But no walls for Ripvanwinkle yet. He will have to rely on his quick walls to save this. And he's actually walling his backside first, which is surprising to me. He knows by now that his opponent is in this area because he has scouted it. He did lay a boar after all, so. But it's going to be 4 militia coming out over Ripvanwinkle's barracks. Even 5 actually, and should have no trouble making them at arms once he goes up here. But 5 forward villagers for Mansfield. He's going for the tower rush with the Legionnaires here. That's a bit of an unexpected move. So it could be towers and scouts done for him. I don't think I've seen that before. He's dropping a house here. So then, yeah, unusual approach, I would say. And Ripvanwinkle now adding a second lumber camp on this wood line. It's really bad news actually if he gets a tower in his face on this side now, because one tower could almost deny both wood lines here. But Village is in for MRNH and he drops a tower right away. So tower is up. Doesn't look like Ripvanwinkle is really stressing the fact that he's under tower fire. He is forced to move away from his old woodland, needs to drop another lumber camp here. So that's some walking time, means kind of idle time for him as well. So 24 to 25 villagers here, so he's Ripvanwinkle with a slight villager lead here. Even though he is going up to the next stage at the moment. And dropping another tower. Lots of villagers going in trying to batter it down, but it's another tower here. In the back here, blocking these villagers from being able to attack. Now let's see where Mansfield is moving. He has some militia roaming his base, but he has been quick walling. He has some exposed forward villagers here though. He's probably running low on food. No, it's not too bad. Now actually deletes a house to release this villager. But he's fine, of course, and Ripvanwinkle goes straight for his opponent's stones. He won't be able to quick wall this in time, so this is okay. A bit hesitant forward from Ripvanwinkle here. Looked almost like he was going for Calabash around, but he takes his opponent off stone. Means there's only now enough stone for one more tower for Mansfield. He's also being challenged here in his forward. Nice defense from Ripvanwinkle here so far. So has to garrison, but he has a copper frame from his other tower. I like, anyway, the approach of delaying Aztecs as much as possible. And Ripvanwinkle tries to battle down this tower, but his villagers are taking fire from the tower behind there. I would love to see it. I think it could be beneficial from Mansfield to move some villagers over to the other tower as well. Ripvanwinkle really commits here. That's so much idle time for him. All of his woodline basically, tearing on towers, but you gotta do what you gotta do. He is floating a little bit of wood still. He has a woodline over here, so he has not been taken off all resources by Mansfield not hot here. His forward has been fought back and he's going for his Eagle Scout now, but Mansfield not doesn't have any towers anymore, and then archery range is now being dropped by Ripvanwinkle. So it's going to be archer range for Ripvanwinkle, it's going to be stable for Mansfield Tot, but they are both not in a stellar eco position. They're both producing from the TCs, which is maybe #1 priority, but Ripvanwinkle floating a bit more gold and actually stone as well. I guess he went to stone for defensive purposes mainly. Yo, Adolf! Tuning into chat, nice. So population is 33 to 30 here. Master Not Hot is now commencing his walls as well, walling towards the gold here, I believe. And also it's walling off his right hand side. I think he should be fine here now. No holes. So as long as he finishes this side, he should be very safe from any forward aggression, even from archers for Ripvanwinkle. But the ecos stabilizing for both players. Village counts actually in Master Not Hot's favor now. He did cause a lot of idle time with his forward here, and now has pulled back to get his eco sorted again. He's still on stone though. Maybe at this point, since he's not following the towers anymore, he could consider redisposing some villagers from stone to other resources, maybe add some more farms. I mean, he desperately needs to get up to the next age as well. But here he is, he's full walled now. He has wood for a few more farms. He's walling off his back, then it's full walled. And this forward from Ripvanwinkle won't do much for this moment. Being on stone could of course also be a preemptive cautionary measure to... Oh, there is a hole actually. So Ripvanwinkle finds his way in. Fortunately not with so much army at this time around. He does not have fletching, he doesn't have blacksmith yet. So these could be fought back even by villagers here. But still causing some idle time, and Master not seeing this opening between the stables and the palisades here could be very significant later on. Second archery range for the Aztecs player now, so he needs to commit to village for the quick walls here, but means the archers could still range him, and also a bit puzzled. The blacksmith is up, getting some upgrades now. Does he have fletching though? Yeah, he has fletching now. So defensive archery range for Master Not Hot, but he spotted the hole, so he's plugged the hole here. Good awareness from Master Not Hot here, and now only needs to clean up this, and he should be nicely set up for eventually getting to the next age. It's 12 farms working for him now. Not really... Okay, this gold is actually very exposed to archer fire, so if Ripvanwinkle sees this, he could really harass it. That's also the only gold that Master Not Hot has on his side. So that's going to be very significant for Knights production later on, or even Monks for that matter, to get the relics control. No, yeah, producing just a few skirms, I guess that's the right play. It counters both spear and archers here, but needs to react with the villager here as well. Pulls her in. Tease of Fire will weaken some of the army here. Nice quick wall, but of course it doesn't really keep the archers out, but now I believe the archers will be cleaned up eventually. That's three skirms now, just not making more than strictly necessary here. Master Not Hot, I can like that. It's 3 skirms against 2 archers or 3 archers and a spear, so he will clean up as Ripvanwinkle sends another volley forward. But he's committing to village here. What's his eco setup like? He's actually closing in on cast ledge click as well, so that could be bad news for our Lithuanian player here. Also, a very crowded woodline here would be beneficial to spread it out, maybe in the back there as well. Try to find another safe spot. I think he's moving some. He's adding more farms. And the cast ledge tick is in for Ripvanwinkle, whereas Master Not Hot is still missing quite an amount of food to click up. Maybe adding a market could be an option now. He has to wait for it, and then could use the market to catch up with his opponent to his next age. But for now, has some skirms to defend. Won't let these archers in. Adds a few more skirms. I guess that's a decent play, since the gate goes down there. Palisade gate very weak when they're not finished building. But there's only 3 skirms, that's not enough to challenge 9 archers here. Even though Ripvanwinkle pulls away, I think this is a fight he could take, and he does, but he needs to dance around a little bit, try and not take so much damage, but he's fleeing back towards the hill instead, and of course that makes it easier to deal with the skirms here. So actually it doesn't cap the hill either, just taking shots from from the skirmishers here, and Mansfield also is adding more skirms as well. Now he takes the hill, gets some free hits on the Ripvanwinkle's archers here, and will damage them even more. Ripvanwinkle really needs to either back off, try and flee away, or just stay on the hill and take the fight, because he has the superior numbers here. He has 9 to 6, it's not ideal. Adding some eagles now, actually, that helps out, but there are still the eagle scouts. But Mansfield not hot is backing off, and he's still not clicked to Castle Age when his opponent is. And actually goes for Bodkin Arrow first, and not the crossbow upgrade. Should be looking at Castle Age very soon for Mansfield not hot as well, but he keeps adding skirms. No, he's okay. He's reacting. He's going for the Men-at-Arms, but he will get the Castle Age as well, right? Yeah, he does. Eco's adapt looks nice for Mansfield not hot. He's taking the Men-at-Arms, getting the attack upgrade that will apply to cavalry as well. And well, Eagles will get in here, but we'll have to dodge TC Fire. We'll probably die to TC Fire. Could even fight back these little villagers, I think. Even though, no, maybe not. This could be a little bit too much armor here to handle. But doesn't really have any other choice. Send the skirms in maybe, and you'll have some help, but needs to deal with these archers as well. Mansfield is floating some stone as well, so he could try and add a defensive tower on the woods and golds here as a defensive measure here, but he's has the villager lead for now. He has a very healthy farm eco. He should be able to sustain Knight's production. He only has one stable for now, but he can afford either TCs or multiple stables here now if it wants that. Crossbow and Bodkin Arrow for Ripvanwinkle should make it easy to push. He could just shoot this palisade and then just walk straight in, but he needs to evade TC fire as well, of course. I guess it makes sense for Mansfield not to pull away here. He could drop another lumber camp over here. That should be very safe from the crossbows for now. Seeing as he's still on stone, he should also be able to get to a castle eventually, which will fend off especially crossbows very easily. But he doesn't have a market as of now, otherwise he could just buy 100 stone or so and just get the castle up. But yeah, has many options here. He has quite a few skirms going for the elite skirm. Could have opted for a defensive siege workshop as well, that's a possibility, but elite skirm certainly will do it against the crossbow. And the problem is the eagle scouts about to be eagle warriors, which will basically eat up skirms once they get those. So, and it's a pretty decent flow of eagles here for his opponent. But as a response to that, Mansfield not hot is adding knights. They should be doing decent against, especially against, yeah, maybe against the eagle warriors as well, even because it's, look at them teleporting into each other here. But takes down one here. As long as Ripvanwinkle can't get the numbers to a significant large difference here, then Mansfield not hot should be okay. But he's off gold. He doesn't have any means to mine gold. He might need to expand somewhere to get to a safe gold. Could opt for a TC here at some point if he could fend off the crossbows. He has lead skirms here now, but he's missing a little bit of wood for a TC. Goes for a TC in near the woodline here. Also makes sense to have the second TC near a woodline. Certainly protects this from archer fire, but his opponent is massing up the numbers, has 2 barracks and 2 ranges now. Also monastery wants to go for the relics. So the Lithuanian player doesn't have a monastery yet, so that is something to consider for Mansfield hot as well, being Lithuanians who really want to contest relics, but he does have one relic in his home base, so should be very hard for Ripvanwinkle to snag all of them, but up to 4 relic, that's something you really want as Lithuanians. Now TCing this gold here on the hill, wants that safely here with one villager idling at the side, unfortunately, but I'm sure they'll work that out somehow. So now 9 elite skirms here, but they're doing no damage at all to the eagle warriors here, so that's a tough one for Ripvanwinkle there. He needs more knights on the field to deal with the eagles, but then again there are crossbows firing behind, and they do nicely against knights as well when the knights only have +1 armor. So floating lots and lots of food for Ripvanwinkle now. If you had a market, you could use the market to get some gold into his resource bank, and it could make significant difference here. But Ripvanwinkle is in, raiding with some eagles again. Now 8 eagles in the mix. They can tank a lot of air fire, as we see here on the TC. And sending a monk forward. Could be to convert knights here. Aztecs monk, as you get more upgrades, they also get more tanky. But here's the defensive, very ballsy even for a defensive castle. This he needs to really commit to this one under crossbow fire and eagle raids here. I don't think, but yeah, the elite skirms need to make a decision here. So maybe that's not such a bad idea after all. Having a defensive castle here, of course, it covers the gold as well. But eventually Mansfield might need to opt for the Champions line with Lithuanians to deal with eagles, if that's what Ripvanwinkle sticks to. He's very heavy on gold for the moment. Mansfield holds floating resources, but he has only 1 stable, 1 range, 1 barracks. Now the monastery adds up, that's good news for the Lithuanians player. Still has 1 villager on the side here, not being a side who's probably not showing up as idle at all. Yeah, he does actually. But villager count, it's higher for the Aztec player. Unfortunately, Aztecs have an eco bonus as well. It shows really well here. He could take Imperial Age very soon now if that's what he wants to. I think he may be missing the second building he needs to click up. Here's the university, so once the university is up, I think we will be seeing Ripvanwinkle taking for the Imperial Age, because why not? And he has a very significant military lead at the moment as well. It's 27 to 14 here. University's up and Imperial clicked in. Even has the stone now for forward castle. I think it would be castling the hill here, maybe securing some gold. Dropping another TC as well, also securing some gold. And once Imperial Age is in for Ripvanwinkle, he could easily trap down this castle and make life really hard for Mansfield here. I'm also paying attention to the military numbers here, because it's 36 to 18, it's twice the military for Ripvanwinkle. That's monks and eagles and crossbows, something that should be really tough for Mansfield to push back, because eagles will easily counter the skirms. Monks to some extent counters knights unless you have huge loads of them, and then crossbows as well can also do some damage to knights. But looks like Mansfield is opting for more ranges here. If he gets to Imperial Age and gets to chemistry, he's adding siege as well. Eagles, however, or even elite eagles, if the Aztec goes for that, they could easily handle siege. But I like the ranges, because if you can get to gunpowder like a hand cannoneer, which Lithuanians indeed have access to, you have some defensive measure against them, and even with some range. So crossbows won't do anything against eagle warriors, but hand cannoneers will. So we hear more monks being added for Ripvanwinkle. He has his forward castle complete now, and the Imperial Age is about to come in here for him. And Mansfield is going to see this castle now that he's been attacking his production over here. But he plugs this hole with the barracks, but trebs are in the queue, or at least 1 treb in the queue for Ripvanwinkle. Now he's even going for this forward woodline here. And I hear a conversion sound from somewhere. It could have been one of Mansfield plots. Okay, where is this? I hear the conversion sound, but I can't see any switches here. Light this. So that's what was being converted on side here. So Mansfield is going for the light this and skirms here. Like this, I guess they could deal nicely with eagle warriors as well, considering they disregard armor. But then again, yeah, as long as there are archers on the field and even monks, then like this will struggle, because they have very low pierce armor compared to the knight's line. We'll go straight for the treb here. It's nice to pick that off, but some conversions kick in here. So 2 monks in the back of the castle they aren't easily sniped. Well, it's actually 3 monks and they aren't easily sniped either. And here's Elite Eagle now for Ripvanwinkle, and if he can come in and get the raids going, I don't think there's any way back for Mansfield Hot here, because he's very cramped in his home base here. He's scouted some relics, he's picked only 1 for now, but of course he's been busy defending and reacting to whatever his opponent is doing. But I think if he loses his castle in his home base and the Eagles can raid more or less freely, then he's in a really bad spot. And this straight trap here for Ripvanwinkle may have been a misclick though, because he's moving into Castle Fire here, but it doesn't make any huge difference here. It's Mansfield Hot calls to GG and he wants to play Arena next. So GG well played, we're moving on, and having a look at the scores here. Total score in the end almost 3,000 more for Ripvanwinkle here. 60 to 39 in the KD, and overall much stronger week. I bet there was quite a little bit of relic gold in there as well. Not so much. It's just mining like crazy because the Eagle Warriors cost quite a bit. Speaking strictly gold wise. But look at the army here. Ripvanwinkle always floating some army on the field, and Mansfield had a moment here where he didn't have any army at all. He was walled though, kind of, so I think he could have opted for an earlier cast stage. May have overcommitted a little bit to the skirms, but then again, when you're forced on the defensive constantly, it's tough to catch up again, especially against Aztecs who have a distinct eco bonus working for them. So it's 1-0 for Ripvanwinkle, and we'll be moving on to an arena game between these 2 players. So let's just hop on to the next set then. It's Necro Arena between these 2 players. It's basically just your regular arena with walls like we know from arena maps, and wood lines should be safely in the back for both players. And is this good speed? Okay, there are some. Okay, they seem to have some arguments on the speed of the game here. Kind of a weird map generation for Mansfield Not Hot here. Actually, for both players, looking at the woodlands. So if you get the Imperial Edge and Onager here, you can simply just cut through these small woodlands near their walls. So that's kind of weird, but it's arena map gens for you. So both players have some kind of area to move back to. A little bit safe spot, woodlines in the back, option for both players. Resources really forward for Mansfield Not Hot here, so he will have to be the aggressor in this game, I think, but he is Aztecs, so he should be able to get a decent fast castle here and challenge the relics on the field with Eagle Scouts. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 relics. I'd say almost all of them, or at least 2 of them, are closer to Mansfield Not Hot here. And Ripvanwinkle being Celts, very likely to go for some siege push here. Maybe he will make some scouts as well to challenge the relics, so he can keep them off the Aztecs player. But it remains to be seen. I'll just fast forward a bit here because on arena, really slow start. A little bit of idle time there for Ripvanwinkle, even being inside their walled safe there, but he's pushing there as well as multitasking like crazy here. Wants to get that food eco going, but with his straggler trees here and there, it's really tough to actually have the deer going the direction we wanted to. But pretty similar overall. Mansfield seems to be an experienced. Hey, thanks for the follow. Trust. So villager counts pretty even though Mansfield has fallen behind, but that's obviously because it's already on the way up to fuel. Is Eco not set up for a direct fast castle? I think he's only at 1 gold. Could be that's of course enough for Aztecs here, but finishing the blacksmith market he's not able to click up right away, so not a flawless 24 podcast there. They're similar in the villager numbers now, but it's Ripvanwinkle clicking up to the castle age first here. So looking at the scouting, they both found their relics, and yeah, doesn't look too dissimilar, but Mansfield is up with more population here, but that's also added a barracks. So now sending out the Eagle Scouts to challenge their relics, but Castle Age is already in for Ripvanwinkle here. And he's dropping his third TC as I say this, and I think Mansfield will drop one as well on the woodline here. Now adding a monastery, wants to take control of these relics. Here's an Eagle Scout, should be able to intercept Ripvanwinkle's monk here, and gets it well in time before the monk can get to the closest relic, which he was going for first. So we'll have a fight for map control here, but there's an Eagle Scout versus a regular Scout here, but that's an easy fight for the Eagle Scout here, wins convincingly actually, because he has more attack. So Ripvanwinkle is now without the Scout. He doesn't have any army production buildings except for a monastery at all, so he wouldn't have trouble getting any relics here, because there are Eagle Scouts on the field guarding most, if not all, the relics now. Mansfield chooses not to guard this relic for the time being, and that's the one closest to his base, but if Ripvanwinkle can get a conversion here, he doesn't, because Eagles also have a bonus, or kind of a hidden bonus that they resist conversion. So it looks like Mansfield should be able to snag most, if not all, the relics here. There's a decent boom going for him as well, but Ripvanwinkle being first to the castle age and not investing into military at all so far, he will be taking the villager lead. But of course you can't win an arena game by just booming. So 7 military for Mansfield, that's monks, and even a spear now for Mansfield. I mean, why not? If your opponent is adding scouts on his own, which looks like he wants to do, then you want spears on the field as well to help out when getting the relics. But Mansfield taking nice map control here now, while booming at home, now at 3 TCs, both players at 3 TCs, but he's caught up, it's 47 to 47. I think maybe investing into army on Ripvanwinkle's side here delayed this boom a slight bit. Conversion gets in here for Ripvanwinkle, and so quite a few pink units here. Actually, 2 monks able to convert an Eagle Scout here, so that's a nice value from the Celts monks here. Now wants to go for the relic that isn't here anymore. And Scout on the field could lose to Eagle Scout again. Looks like he wants to go over to this side, but fails to see that this monk is on the move here with the relic in his hands. So it looks like Ripvanwinkle wants to take some map control here with Scouts, but has to bail. Good. Focused on the monk here now. I think he'll get it in time actually. So yeah, good value from the scout here, but loses of course the Eagle Scouts in the end due to less attack, but at least delays the relic collection and forces Ripvanwinkle to send this monk out again. So not really too much going on for the moment, we're just picking up relics here, as Manswindeltot is getting his relic number 3. And now on the 2 left, his Zeta Gathering Point is going to get this one easily, and now has 4 Eagle Scouts to guard the last relic being sent in. Well, he needs to task this monk back as well, but he does indeed, and is even on the way to the Imperial Age here, guys. He's, yeah, solid head start to Imperial Age. He's like 50% ahead of his opponent. And Ripvanwinkle is mainly just booming on his side. Looks like he wants to drop Castle and TC, wants more gold for himself. As well, thanks for the follow, L Mamwit08, appreciate it. And as Ripvanwinkle reaches the Imperial Edge as well, we should be getting some Jaguar warriors from Manswindeltot here. I guess he's seen that votes are on the field, or expecting votes from the Celts castles, and he wants something to deal with that. But still not too much happening on the field. Another TC for Ripvanwinkle here is really extended. I think his eco is pretty healthy here. Is producing loads, getting stuff done here, whereas Manswindeltot is floating a lot of gold here now. Almost looks like he wants to go for some kind of siege push here, even archer line, because it's really gold and wood heavy here. And there is a few siege workshops on the field. So, could be some means to break through the walls here, maybe. But another castle for Ripvanwinkle, securing some map control here, reaching at least this gold and a little bit of stone as well. And he has army presence on the field, now it's 19 to 15 military. I think the Wolves should be able to, see being infantry, should be able to deal with Eagles pretty nicely, because they have good speed and can catch up with them, and high melee attack as well, and maybe even more armor. I haven't seen that matchup a lot, but there are now Eagle Scouts on the field, and what is it, Longswords for... yeah, Longswords. So could be Longswords Magdalene push here, but that could be hurtful against Wold Raiders. They have the speed, they could easily snipe down Siege, I think. Yet another castle by Ripvanwinkle. One villager, one single man constructing a huge fortification like this. What a hero. Doesn't even wall himself in for safety. So that's pretty ballsy of Ripvanwinkle. And just a little bit of scouting awareness here, and they could have been denied by Eagle. Eagle is going in this direction, but I don't think he will see the castle foundation. Oh, he'll spot it. He'll spot it. Wait for it. Sees the foundation. Sees one villager building it. And Eagle Scout, what will you do? You could actually lose to this villager 1-1 here. No, you can't. Too much armor on the Eagle Scout, so he stops this one-man castle. But look at the woads chasing that eagle like nothing. It was an elaborate trap here. Just show me what you got. So we have elite Wold Raiders, 13+1, should deal easily with eagles. Even elite eagles, maybe. But it looks like Garland Wars is in for asset player here. Lots of extra attack here. Jaguars challenging the votes, but the votes are in huge numbers here. And the votes clean up. They both have 30+1, which is lots more attack, but also they have the speed, and most importantly of all, they were outnumbering the opponent. But distracting the votes on this side means it's tougher to handle Mangonels firing away on this side, but they won't break through just yet. You can't send in Mangonels unprotected like that. So lots of attacks coming in from both players here. That's get unique tech for Ripvanwinkle here, I believe. That's the Furor Ketika that gives the siege weapons 40 plus 40 HP. So the cap rams will be moving forward. It's going heavily for the rams here. The Scorps as well, actually. Not a bad move at all against infantry like Jaguars and the like, but you need something to deal with the Mangonels as well, so you need more Wood Raiders on the field, I think. So the Jaguars are in, forcing a defensive castle from Ripvanwinkle here. Gets a nice on-the-good shot in here on the Wood Raiders, but the Wolves will focus down on Onagers like nothing. They're great against siege here. And I think the defensive castle for the Kets player will go up here as well. So it's looking tough for Mansfield and Not right now, but his eco for now at home is set. He has 2 castles on his side. Is he committing to the... Is it only for defensive purposes, or does he want to commit to more Jaguar Warriors? I don't think so. He's going forward here. Not accomplishing too much with the forward for now, but he chases down these Kelt cap rams here. So stops the push effectively here. The Kelt player has some heavy scorpions on the field. Look at the scores, they're very even here. Kelt's player even getting Cavalier now, but his eco isn't really supporting all that much Knights line production. He's taking it anyway and he's up against Onagers, so if the Onagers get close to the Scorpions, that's just gonna be a slaughter. Siege Ram, now from Mansfield and Hot, he could break in here actually. That would be a perfect breaking point for Siege Rams, or even better, he could use the Onagers to cut through the trees here or there. He could cut through here with the Onagers, that would be awesome. That would be a true masterpiece, just finding the openings. So we have heavy scorpions here firing away at the Treb, so the Treb won't really do much for now. Jaguars tanky against Scorpion fire here actually, but they still die before they can get too close here. But look at the Onagers now, as soon as they get close enough they could just slaughter these Scorpions. So gets a few down there, gets a few more down. Some nice Onager management here. Maybe with a villager forward with repairs, the opportunity to repair this, that would be just perfect. But look at the resources of Ripvanwinkle here now. He can sustain lots of production overall here. He's been taking the neutral resources as well. He's floating a lot of gold. And Mansfield and Hot is also floating lots of resources, mainly wood, lots of wood. So should he struggle, he can sell wood at the market. But Siege Rams going forward, Onagers has a nice chunk of Jaguars here as well, sending 1 Siege Ram towards this castle. And looking at their populations, it's Mansfield and Hot in the population lead here, military lead. Huge military lead as well. The only military for Ripvanwinkle right now is 1 heavy scorpion and 3 Onagers. So if the Rams can get close enough, they will deal with this. But Onagers doing work here for the Cats. They fire faster as well. Could get some fantastic hits in here now. Weakens a lot of Jaguars here. But Mansfield and Hot could still sustain lots of siege production. And he takes out Scorpions here with Siege Rams, believe it or not. He's getting allowed to get close enough, but needs to deal with Onagers. Get close, that's 1 hit, 2 hits. No, doesn't get a hit here. And loses Siege Ram. Throwing away Siege Rams here, but getting a slow push going and now adding Trebs as well. He has 4 castles, so he could produce lots of Trebs here. He has some nice defense. It's going to be tough to get close enough to the Trebs here. Scorpions can fire from distance, but they don't really do much damage to Trebs. And Mansfield and Hot wants to challenge the castle in the middle first. Could have also gone for the straight for the base, I think, but he's taking some control in the middle, but needs to defend as well. The champions are on the field. Champions against Wolves, I think Wolves. Oh, it's Aztecs champions with Golem Wars, so they should actually be able to beat Wood Raiders here. Kelt Paladin on the field. Wow, when was the last time you saw that? So Ripvanwinkle taking into everything here is floating lots of resources still, but he's also losing parts of his base. His eco is working for him, but is behind in numbers, and this is also Aztec's eco working for Mans really not hot. Paladins on the field, that's a very, very expensive upgrade to get, but if you're floating the resources, just why not? But still needs to challenge Aztec champions here, and some Trev's pikes. Nice direction from Answer not hot to add the pikes as well. He actually, all things considered, doesn't have too many barracks working for him. I think he could benefit from even more barracks, especially for the pikes department. He's selling food now to get gold, so he seems to be running out of gold at home with his mine gold here as well. But keeping his army numbers up, he's at 56 to 6 military now. He's been beaten, battered down a castle here. He's also taken out the castle in Ripvanwinkle's base here, so it's a successful push for Mansfield not hot here, even though he's losing a lot along the way. But he's keeping Ripvanwinkle from expanding and increasing his army numbers here, focusing down a little bit, but now has pikes in the mix as well. They also have +8 attack, so they should be able to deal with paladins as well. One stray villager here being focused down, or actually being left alive by Mansfield not hot here, but now will die too. Eagles. More barracks being added, so that's taking more map control from Mansfield not hot as well, and he wants to tread down this castle. Ripvanwinkle now down to 5 military again. He can't really challenge these Trebs now because he doesn't have any army to deal with, and he's forced to follow GG. There we go. So was Mansfield not hot? Solid Aztecs arena player now, securing all the relics and getting to Imperial Age first, and just slowly taking the map control of his enemy. So I think it was. Well, it wasn't out of resources for Ripvanwinkle, but his production is constantly being denied, so he needed to maybe migrate over here and get something going, but he can't touch Mansfield really not at home because it's behind walls here. Good game. That brings the score to 1-1, and we're moving on to now Ripvanwinkle's home map. Pretty even ecos here, but there was a Celts player who was first to retreat easy boom, so he had a really nice eco going for him, expanding across the map as well. He took the neutral gold, so he had a really nice eco breaking for him, but didn't manage to push back the strong Aztecs army with Garland Wars infantry and some decent siege as well. So going siege as Celts, okay, yeah, seemed to work out for him, but of course he had some support in infantry units as well, with some very nice speed and good attack. Significant earlier castle age for Ripvanwinkle here though, but then compensating being earlier to Imperial from Mansfield not hot. So strictly speaking about fast castle times for Mansfield not hot, it was he only had 1 on gold while going from feudal castle age, and that could have been why he was delayed a little bit, though he seemed to be going for the straight fast castle still. So with 2 on gold, he would certainly have had the gold to click up, and worst case could use the market to adjust a little bit to get to click up right after your buildings have completed. But didn't make a difference in the end. He was first to imp and made use of that and pulled back and got his win. And look at the relic gold as well. Aztecs with the relics bonus and eco bonus as well. Eco's pretty close, even considering his opponent had 16 more wills. And you can see the army numbers also increasing while keeping his opponent's army numbers down here. Strong play from Man's really not hot on his home map here. So we're going to game 3, which is on Hideout. And the match up is Khmer against Britons. What's going here? We have gone to Ripvanwinkle's home map, which is Hideout. Should be a familiar map for most players because it's been a ranked pool map once, the ranked map pool more than once. So you see the players spawning pretty close together here. Look at this. This small distance here between them on this side. So there's such a small woodline between them here. Could be so this will be a great generation for whoever is going to be the aggressor. This plays very much in favor for the early game for Khmer, I would say, because they could get up to the next age so easily. So I think Mansfield really needs to apply some early pressure with archers, maybe men-at-arms towers, men-at-arms archers. Men-at-arms not really the best play for Hideout, but he needs to apply some kind of early aggression so as to stop the Khmer player from being able to go straight fast castle here and then just get the siege up and going. So let's see what they are going for here. I will fast forward a little bit just to get to the action. So a little scouts fight here. So goats or ibexes spawning outside of the base, unfortunately, so we need to reach the walls to get them. But the wars always spawn inside, which helps a lot, obviously. So, slight field lead for Mansfield-Not-Hot. I mean, Mansfield-Not-Hot just did a great display on Arena, so he must be a decent player for closed-off maps as well. So, it could be that he has a trick up his sleeve for Hideout as well, but gets housed here on 19 pop, which brings him a little behind. Khmer player going straight to stone, so I think he will actually go for the towers here. Look at this. So Khmer with the early up, he didn't click up yet, but it's only a matter of getting the food and is already going forward. So Mansfield-Not-Hot is closing off here, but towers in Hideout, you see it more often than you'd think. But while under pressure with towers, it's going to be tough to pull off your straight fast castle. As we see, there aren't really any military production buildings for Mansfield-Not-Hot yet. He is, however, going up to the fuel age, something that Ripvanwinkle is not. But there's the food for him, so he's not going to be far behind. It's going to be just 14% difference, but ideally going for the towers, you should be up before your opponent. But let's just fast forward to the action here. He's placing some houses just at random places. Maybe just wants places to hide once he... well, if he needs to pull back here, but that's actually a really... For a 22 pop Khmer, I have to say that this is questionably slow uptime here. And the archers really have to ready, blacksmith archers for Mansfield-Not-Hot already, but there's an archer range for the Khmer player as well. So he could go straight for a skirms defense, and Mansfield-Not-Hot of course reacting to the tower going up and preparing to get stone for defensive towers here. But the tower will go up, and then Eco should be able to sustain maybe a few archers for the Khmer player as well, or simply just skirms. But he's going for the archers. So defensive tower here for Ripvanwinkle, and in the meantime, defensive tower for Mansfield-Not-Hot. In the meantime, Ripvanwinkle is breaking through. But house walling behind, of course, so another forward tower in this area is out of the question. But now he has one archer at least working for him. And walls in the tower, so he denies the gold outside of Mansfield-Not-Hot space for now, but the golds and stones here, Mansfield-Not-Hot has a very safe gold here. It's going to be difficult to take that away from him. Now another tower being added on the far side for for Ripvanwinkle, but Mansfield not hot. He sees this, I think, unless it's a spec bug. And if he doesn't see it, he will expect some further towers being added. In the meantime, Mansfield not hot has walled off this side. He doesn't want to be surprised on the left-hand side. But on the other hand, he could have easily walled off this side as well, because his opponent is busy forwarding. So, to restrict any reinforcements could have been a play here, but adding some army here, archers and skirms, he has noticed the range going up as well, so just house walling a bit behind her. Nice defense from Mansfield not hot here. And if the Winders try to go forward, they could be intercepted by archers. Likely already with fletching, since there is a blacksmith indeed here for Mansfield not hot. So it's towers and skirms from Ripvanwinkle, not the most common approach to see, but against Britons, just why not? You want to punish them, you don't want them to get straight to the fast cast lage and the extra range on their archers. So just being generally annoying here, but also looking at the ecos, Mansfield not hot with food and gold floating. Current player not so much, he has less food, less gold, less of anything except from stone, and stone of course is needed to make the aggressive towers here, but being on stone himself, Mansfield not hot is just adding defensive towers and delaying his opponents forward. So far, fantastic defense from Mansfield not hot. And now adding more farms, I would be surprised to see him being able to kick up the cast stage soon. He has 12 farms working for him right now. Now focuses, risks losing his scout now, but he pulls away. Should be okay. What's his army count like? He has now 4 archers and a skirm in queue. But he already has the buildings he needs to click up, and he's floating a better eco than his opponent still, which keeps adding houses and forward aggressive structures. So Ripvanwinkle scout goes down to archer's fire here from Mansfield not hot. Maybe a little bit sloppy there, losing the scout to nothing. But also the towers forward restricts any sort of expansion for Mansfield not hot here, except from the scout on the side here. So, but very patient playing for Mansfield not hot here. He knows that if he can sustain his eco in his base now with 21 farms, he should be able to be to the cast stage before his opponent, who is investing a lot into RB, more notably skirms and of course towers here. Means he's on stone. He still has 3 on stone, and isn't denying any significant resources from Mansfield not hot here. Taking wood and gold freely here, MRNH, that's the most important for Britain, so he can just get production going. And military-wise they are equal in numbers, but Britons, if he just stays patient and gets to the cast lage, he can just take the into crossbows and demolish this army and even mine the lower and down towers. So very significant score lead for Mansfield not hot here right now. Could be the eco speaking for him, maybe a little bit of scouting as well. I believe the current player has only scouted his opponent and that's it. But his eco looking better now. Pretty heavily on gold. If he has a market, which goes up now, he will market abuse and he will be just slightly behind the cast stage, but in exchange with most likely a worse eco, because he only has a few farms. The benefit of Commander of course being you could add farms anywhere, so you could add forward farms with your forward rangers, and he will take out the barracks here only with archers and skirms fire, because Mansfield not hot is just being very patient and defensive here. Hasn't allowed his opponent to again move further into his base to add some denying towers on the resources. So these barracks will go down, but in exchange they will have equal army numbers, but I believe this will be Britain's fight to win still. Is adding a second range now. Commercial player adding some forward villagers here is probably going to go for some of the forward golds here and make use of that. Will he be able to get to crossbow though? He could afford that should you choose to, but that might also affect his production. But his resources are set up to afford, for example, forward siege, or he's even taking the deer here right now. Seems to be kind of desperate for food because he has too few farms at home still. So Castle Age is in for Mansfield, and what's going to be his play now? He's getting Podkin crossbow right away. Ripvanwinkle, on the other hand, is completely idle here. Siege Workshop for Mansfield not hot. Forward Castle for Ripvanwinkle. Forward Castle, Elite Skirm, and Stable as well, Stable Decks. Could we be seeing some elephants here now? That's the question. Doesn't really have the food and gold for it. He is adding elephants, so he wants to go for the elephants. They can tank a lot of arrow fire, but with this mass, okay, it's not really a huge mass of archers, makes sense maybe to prioritize the lead scrum first. But Battle Elephant is in. Looks like from the looks of it, it already has husbandry as well. So, but he can't sustain production on those forever, but Forecast there is certainly providing some very important cover fire here, and the amount of skirms in the mix here is not a joke either, but crossbows succeed in focusing down one elephant here. So just very resilient, always forward by Ripvanwinkle here. He just doesn't want to let go his forward pressure, so if he's able to somehow wound behind it, he could get out of this alive, but he is not really adding any more economy at home. He's only at 1 TC, is a very all-in push from him. And he also added a few elephants, but he can't really sustain production. That's kind of for either. He's not getting any more archers, upgrades for those. And the defensive castle will go up for Mansfield not hot here, no question about that. So with cover fire from his defensive castle here, he could use rams to bring down this forward castle of Ripvanwinkle, and he could push back the whole forward here, and it might just be GG. But let's not call it just yet, and just keep watching here and see how they're doing. So Ripvanwinkle hasn't really scouted much on the map. He has another gold right outside his base, 3 attack gold, so look at that, this would be a fantastic TC spot for him. If he can get there, but at the moment he's sustaining his forward, he's not really adding too much, he's getting the farms upgrade just now. That's not ideal considering he has 12 farms here. But adding a Mangonel maybe could be looking to break in on this side. Wants to take out the Siege Workshop, but there's something in the Siege Workshop for Mansfield not hot as well. Mansfield not hot is on the way to the Imperial Age, something that Ripvanwinkle still is quite far away from. There's a Ram and a Mangonel in Mansfield not hot Siege Workshop as well, so he could use his own Mangonel to deal with this. But looking at the home ecos, it's definitely Mansfield not hot with the most significant eco here. Is also only on 1 TC, surprisingly enough. Britons have cheaper TCs, so at this point you could consider adding another TC, maybe even on the woodline at the back here or something, just to expand this eco and extend the lead even further. Because now he has some army, and there is the TC on the woodline inside his main base. He might be losing his Siege Workshop now, but there's not really too much army for Ripvanwinkle to move forward with here. But Ripvanwinkle also going for an Imperial Age here is at 20%. But what happens when he loses his forward? He may have been relying on his market a little bit, his adding a second TC as well, but his eco still is behind his opponents, I would say. Now adding another range because Mansfield not hot is losing this range. But he will be the first one to the Imperial Age. He will be adding trebs from his castle here, at least one, maybe two. Yeah, one treb in the queue has some siege here as well. Now it's open though, so this would be the time for Ripvanwinkle to get some raids in. He's pushing with the Magnet, but they will only get so far because the castle is here, blocking any siege fire. But then again, Britain crossbows outrange mangonels. And now in Imperial Age they actually have the 5+5 now because the unique tech of Britons even get another plus range. They get +1 in Castle Age, +1 in Imperial Age, and then the unique tick for another +1. So Arbalest is in for Britain's player. This is just going to be so tough for a Khmer player to fight back once he loses his castle. He's behind very much in military here. He has some skirms of course, but skirms and Field Age archers, they just won't contest this mass of Arbalest from the Britain's player, who's also adding more. Still adding more. He has 2 ranges, could maybe consider adding even one more at some point, but he will deal with his opponent forward here. The Ripvanwinkle is repairing, but he's still on 2 TC boom, so he's not really getting away in the boom approach either, because he's already behind in villagers from his constant forwarding here. Adds more elephants, but then again there's still the range of the all rest of the Britons. The elephants being, however tanky they may are, this will still struggle against constant archers' fire. So the forward castle goes down for Ripvanwinkle here. He has some scorps on the field now, but he has only 1 siege workshop, so there's no way he's going to mass enough scorps to make a difference here either. Mansfield not completely idle at the moment, but he has the huge military lead here now, trebs down the towers from the field age from Ripvanwinkle, and looks like in the winning position here very much now. Mansfield not. So Mansfield not, he just won his home map on the Grail arena, and his opponent, surprisingly enough, chose another closed-ish map like Hideout, and is facing some serious opposition here. Doing kind of an all-in 1 TC push with Khmer, and with some success, but never really managed to break in here, and now it's only up to Mansfield not to push back here and end the game. So the Arbalest focusing on the elephants, so you can see the elephants tanking a lot of fire here, but they go down eventually, and look at this range, just ranging so far with the Britons here. And Ripvanwinkle just can never get his army numbers running. It's actually the same as the last arena game, where he was doing a very nice early push and sustaining it for a long while, but in the end his production gets taken out and he can't get back into getting, because his opponent just has these enormous masses of army. So here are the trebs moving forward. Command's really not hot now. He is focusing down some elephants again. And what can Ripvanwinkle really do here is eco isn't great at the moment. He's only floating food. Khmer farm's doing work, that said. But he is behind with 10 villagers. He is severely behind in military, and the population count is just very significantly different here. It's 50 difference between Mansfield and Ripvanwinkle here. But he's adding archer ranges closer to home here. Still doesn't know anything about the map as a whole. He could... Yeah, he doesn't really have any resources to flee to back here. It's nice awareness actually from Mansfield on top his early scouting to see that there aren't any resources for Ripvanwinkle to flee to here. So when he blocks off this side, even with palisades, any escape for Ripvanwinkle will lead into spots with no significant resources at all. So here's another forward castle being added where Mansfield not hot. Could maybe even opt for some cap turns or something in addition to the traps here, just to take out production even faster. You see Ripvanwinkle adding skirmishers, but there's just no way he's going to get to the critical mass of skirmishers to fight back 43 Britain's Arbalests here. So Mansfield is taking Halberdier. It could be a precautionary measure against more elephants, I'm not sure. Ripvanwinkle is getting a lot of upgrades here. He's getting... But he doesn't have a university, so there it is. He's going to get the appropriate upgrades from the university as well. Maybe get some more range or whatever on the skirms. He's getting the last armor upgrade as well. So he's trying to be patient here and get the numbers of skirms up, but he's not producing skirms at all right now. It's 20 skirms against 43 arbalists still, and the KD very much in Mansfield and Hot's favor here. He's taking out Watcher ranges here with Britain's arbalist and Trebs behind. Might even add more Trebs from the forward castle here now, and he has castle fire to back his scattered arbalists here, and he doesn't even need help because this amount of arbalists actually one-shots the battle elephants of the Khmer player. Barracks being added forward though for Mansfield and Hot. I don't. Ripvanwinkle getting ballistics for skirms, so he has a decent mass of skirms here, but he's still half of the actual number of arbalists here. They are dealing so much damage towards the buildings as well. Ripvanwinkle adding more archer rangers in the back, but he just won't be able to get anything more. He's fleeing to the back now, but he will soon realize that there aren't any resources for him to flee to. He's adding houses, but the only thing here is wood for him, and that's not going to do too much other than maybe the reboom with the extremely effective farms. So Trebs just chilling out here now for Mansfield at the moment. Looks like they're aimed at the lumber camp or something here, but I think now is the time to just, well, he needs to deal with the skirms as well. I'd love to see some light cap maybe, Britain's light cap, not the best of course, but still very useful counter for the lead skirm. Look at the resources, still voting nice flow of resources. Not too bad for Ripvanwinkle actually, but Mansfield not hot. Floating food and gold. He could even take into Cavalier now if he felt like it. Not that he will need to, but if he needs a really powerful counter to the skirms, that is an option for him. He is, where is Orless at now? He's still at 42 military. So he's added a tower on this side. There's only one little piece of wood here left. When that's chopped through, Mansfield not hot could move through here as well. And he has some arbalest ready on this side already. Some skirms here readying a little bit for Ripvanwinkle, so he's not giving up. He's expanded, he's added a TC here. He's trying to reboom, but he's just so restricted off his resources here. Yeah, here are Mansfield's barbs. They might have been inside the castle to heal up a little bit. And Mangonel push now forward to Trebs as well. Would love to see the Arbalest together with the Trebs as well though. Not that they will go down to skirms. The Mangonel should deal decently with skirms here, but light cab would still be a more viable option in the end, or even Cavalier. But he might want to save the gold for his Trebs and archers, of course. But the Treb here actually going down to skirm fire, and the Mangolev just chilling out. Is he busy dealing with some raids here maybe? Has some pikes here and there doing work, but he's going to use another Treb now to skirm fire with the Mangolev ready behind to... Could have landed some nice shots here if he was paying attention to his Mangolev. So a bit sloppy play from Mansfield Hot right here, but he's still in the significant lead here, disregarding the villager difference here, since Ripvanwinkle has had the opportunity to reboom a little bit. But if Mansfield Hot can get a few more trades out, get this castle down, or even start raiding from this side, this would be a point to actually consider adding some quicker units, even being Britons, just to have light cab to both counter elite skirms and just go into raid. But the superior range still doing work for Mansfield not hot here. He could snipe the elite skirms before they go in. Looks like Ripvanwinkle is thinking about going for the raids here. There is actually an opening here now, but there's a Treb far forward here for some reason. Nice defensive castle now from Answer not on this side. He could now add Trebs from this area and Treb down the castle from that side. And once Ripvanwinkle's base is completely breached, I don't see any way back for him. There's only this neutral gold here for him to take. He would need to break through over on the other side here to get to the neutral resources. So Mansfield still not really feeling any need to deal with the elite skirmishers here. We have 5+6 range for the Avalesters now. Means he has also gotten the university techs for to really utilize the Britain's strength here, and he keeps focusing on the production of Ripvanwinkle adding another elephant. Very expensive animals these. But he has food eco to support at least light cab and maybe an elephant here there as well. Using elephants as a meat shield against the arbalest might not be too bad. Could act like in the same sense like a ram, that it can tank lots of arrows and you can get fire away with your skirms. But the skirms take the hill here, get some pickoffs, but it's just not really going to be any. Shouldn't be a problem for Mansfield not here to still keep his position and. Take this game home. He's still pushing back, but I don't see any. Haven't seen any capped rams added. He not a Treb on this side either. He wants to. It would be really nice to deal with get into Ripvanwinkle space here and just deny him of all of these farms. Imagine just a few light cab running here into raid or on this gold here. So I think it comes down to map awareness as well. Just don't keep on fighting elite skirms with your obelisk, even though you can. You will lose gold against wood and wood in the long run here, and in the maybe just try to opt for raids instead of just to deny your opponent of the eco. So still not pushing on this side here, and Reworm is on for good for Ripvanwinkle here. He's really doing nicely with his ecos, spending a lot now, adding Hussars now to raid. This could be a game changer, but he's being stonewalled here from Mansfield not hot, so the Hussars won't get through here, but they can still run in here if they're not paying attention. Long swords now on the field for Mansfield not hot. Is that a means to deal with the... Well, he's dealing with production, but it could be his idea to deal with skirms, I'm not sure. But looking at the military numbers, it's still 47 to 13 or to 12 for Mansfield not hot here. But he must be running low on gold because now he's taking elite skirm of his own. And we'll be fighting skirms with skirms. But taking out production this side, just want to get rid of that annoyance. Long swords, because why not? Now adding a TC on this stone here means he should be able to get to another forward castle. After a while, still using the Treb to take out production. Imagine some capped rams on the field instead. Skirms would never be able to take out capped rams here. And Siege Workshop for the career player here now. What's his eco like now? He's actually at a stronger eco than his opponent at this point. He's 20 win lead. He has lost way fewer units overall. That's his skirms really doing great work for him here. But the Treb will deny, or at least take this Siege Workshop out very quickly. Hussars on the field dealing with 200 swordsmen missing a lot of armor here, so they go down to Hussars. I can't help but feel like Mansfield not hot is not thinking about the ideal combo here against. He has teched, I believe he has teched Haldia already, so he could go for helps as well to deal with the Hussars. But so insofar he's not being raided on his side, but he needs to get some new scouting intel in on his opponent to see if he has in fact expanded as well. He doesn't see anything of what's going on here. So the only reason, imagine if there had been some neutral stones, some gold more on this side, then Ripvanwinkle would be in a fantastic spot right now. But instead it's being slowly pushed back by Trebs. Now finally light cab on the field here to deal with elite skirms, hopefully. But of course needs more numbers, probably needs some more upgrades on the Light cab as well. Well, has the armor, that's most important. Trebs on the field. Arbalesters with the extra rage could pull back and focus down the skirms from the distance, I think. But dealing with the reinforcements here, using the Trebs to take out production yet again, but that only means that Ripvanwinkle will need add more production even further back in space, so it's being slowly pushed back, that has to be said. But as long as he has the wood eco, food and gold eco to sustain production, it's Manson Trilliot is not doing himself a favor by not also attacking his opponent's eco from time to time. Maybe stack up on some light cab, get some raids in. Looks like he wants to drop a forward castle here now though. Lots of builders here, builders going where exactly? So I see builders, but I don't see any foundation here. He's pulling back because he sees some more army production. No, going for the mining camp actually. So a little bit of market abuse here, and he could pull up another castle, but mining some extra gold is certainly going to do it as well. Still keeps fighting skirms with our lists here, but with the superior rage he gets the kills in here. It's 274 kills to 159 deaths now for Mansfield Not Hot. Also, of course, again keeping the massive military lead here, and making his opponent having to restock up on army still, and score shouldn't be very uplifting for Ripvanwinkle right now, but he refuses to let go. He still has resources in the bank. He's actually running low-ish on food, but that's only because he's producing a heck of a lot here. His 45 farmers working for him. Here, finally, the castle in his home base goes down, and 2 tribes firing away will get a TC as well. This is going to be bad. It's badly housed now, Ripvanwinkle. That means he can't really add any army just yet either. He's complete. He has lots in the queue, but can't really get them out because he's just so severely housed from losing a castle, and it's just too much to think about right now. And this is, as mentioned before, played on fast speed, so not too easy to pay attention to all of the declines when everything goes so fast either. But lots of stables here. Might be considering to go for some raids here, but Trebs on this side doing work. Arbalest on this side, war Trebs as well, taking out production. Could easily extend to this side and take out armor production once again, but have to commend the Ripvanwinkle for his reboom as well. He just refuses to give up here. His 2,000 centers over here though, still has 33 farmers working for him. He's floating some resources, but it's just denying the inevitable here now, I think. So Mansfield Not Hot is down to 20 Arbalest now, and you can see the Hussars tanking quite a few shots here now. I'd love to see some pointy boys in the field as well now, just to deal with these Hussars. So Hussar rate coming in, but at what cost is still mining gold here, so when he's off this gold he may have been abusing the market, selling, yeah, he's definitely been selling food to get gold, but the gold prices are probably pretty shitty right now. Let's have a look. Is it here maybe? No. Okay, I think he actually doesn't have a market. So let's go to Mansfield Hot point of view then to see the wood buy sell. Look at the price. Okay, not too bad. It doesn't have been too much on market abuse here. Stone selling price is nice though, so if Mansfield Hot needs gold, he could sell stone. It seems like a never-ending game, doesn't it? It's 15,000 score to 9,000 something here. But Mansfield Hot losing some military here, and Ripvanwinkle up to 56 military now. He's been down to 4 military more than once here, but look at this, committing so much to production here. And what is he really going to be able to come back from this? He's going to have a real tough time to deal with castles, but he has food, he has wood, he has gold. And Hussars are doing work, and there isn't really not anything here. There are a few helps here and there for Mansfield Not Hot. He need more to deal with the Hussars. but he's extending his map control with castles here. He has some traps. Yeah, purple is very resistant, very resilient play from him. He just refuses to give up. And look at this reboom over here. It's and his eco is, I mean, all things considered, he is looking on the production here. It's just he has so much more production still than his opponent. So he's hanging on there. Its military production is the key. But he's lost villagers, so he's now behind his opponent. KD is very much still in Blue's favor. But there's stone in the bank for yet another forward castle for Mansfield-not-Hot here. So he's going to deny any expansion, but the map is slowly running out of gold here. Mansfield-not-Hot has gold here. I'm used to see that they haven't gone for the relics. I mean, judging from the map control, Mansfield-not-Hot, he now controls 4 relics, but he's going for the golds and stones instead. I don't think any of them have taken relics. No, they haven't. So, skirms at work here. Ripvanwinkle still floating, lots of resources. He doesn't have a market. Clearly has a market now, so he could be selling food to get gold. The market prices are still decent. So if he sells food, he gets 30 gold actually. So he has some means to get gold still. But I think also his scouting still hasn't scouted this side, so it's questionable decision from purple side not scouting a whole map for relics and neutral resources, but he didn't go for the very early aggression here. This will take some more time. Yeah, indeed it will. It's neither player wants to give up. This is the game tree after all, so they they just none of them are giving in just yet. But Mansfield-not-Hot is bringing down his opponent's military numbers yet again. 67 to 11 military now, and castles all over the place. He could even go for the longbows now if he feels like it. Not that he needs to. But look at the food eco here, just spiking away, constant food production, and so many of wood as well. So he's selling wood. They're getting very good prices for wood here, getting lots of gold by selling wood here. Yes, can sell. Yeah, it's not great now, but look at the food. I think they're both using the market a lot now to get respective resources. But all of this army production, that's the key for Ripvanwinkle to maybe get back into the game. But look at the population. Blue is pop capped. He has 18,000 score, gets 10. He's just not giving this victory away here. Now as champions could, I guess, be helpful in taking out production here. But skirms won't be great against champions, although being ranged units. But needs to pay some attention and maybe not go for the gold mines here. This could be a good place for another forward castle here for Mansfield-not-Hot, but he keeps adding his castles, want to just secure this side as much as possible. Now he's even stonewalling this side. So now he's realized Ripvanwinkle is expanding a lot on this side. Let's see the scouting here. Yeah, has some vague idea of the reboom here, so now he's adding stone walls just to make sure he can't expand further. But Ripvanwinkle now adding scorpions from his many siege workshops here, and that should be dealing okay-ish with the champions here. Get some hits in. I think he's microing a little bit here even to get the most hits in on the champions, and that's a nice answer to infantry movement right there. Hey, thanks for a follow. Elongated muskrat. Oh, elongated muskrat. I get it. So the fight is still going on here. Ripvanwinkle is holding on with 120 population here against a popcat opponent, but right now he is completely idled. No TCs, no military production. This eco might be in a bad spot now. Well, he's missing gold, he still has food and wood. So you could opt for even more skirms or hussars. Need some mills. Yeah. Well, it's Khmer Farms Kong. He doesn't need them. Doesn't need mills. So population counts now almost 100 more population for Mans of Nilhot here. He just doesn't give up this game. Slowly taking out the production with champions here again. I'm running out of things to say about this game because it's just so stubbornly held on by Ripvanwinkle. I'm surprised that Mans of Nilhot hasn't had him called 105 just yet, but holding on. Mans of Nilhot with strong. Stronger eco hero? Yeah, it was boring to play too. Yeah, I would think so. These long, never-ending games, it's just... It's not really any gold or stone left to fight for either here, so... So there's another castle. I'm looking forward to seeing the final castle count here, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... I think it's the 8th castle now. And GG, okay. And upon GG, looks like my computer froze. So sorry, can't show you the stats here, I think. So that's what a long game can do to you. Well, at least we got to see the GG called here. Oh boy. It's finally Mans really not hot, advancing to round 3 after this matchup. So let's go to the other screen now, because my game won't answer here. So I think that's it for today. I've been playing myself and uncasted for another few hours. Thank you so much for watching, whoever is watching right now, and I will be casting some tomorrow as well, I think, either before or after Red Bull Wololo. So, thanks for watching, see you some other day.